Good morning, everyone. Please welcome Pratyush Kumar, co-founder of Sarvam, to the stage.
Good morning, Bangalore. And welcome to Epoch. What a beautiful presentation in the morning with the dance, the graphics, the music. I hope all of you are pumped up. Firstly, welcome to the first ever Epoch. As many of you would know, an epoch is the time when a machine learning model, when it is being trained, has seen the data once. It's a moment when learning gets crucified, the model is really capable. Epoch, as the first of its series for Sarvam, represents our coming out with our ideas, our products, our partnerships on the frontier of AI out of India. So really, this is the starting of a series of events that we would do where the innovations of Sarvam come out into the open. And you, the builders today, is the first such event. Tomorrow, we are doing one with leaders, enterprise leaders, government leaders, leaders from policy. That's happening today. But today is with you developers. We'll be showcasing the research we have been doing. We'll be showcasing the models, the new models that are available. Lots of interesting products, lots of new things that you did not expect. And of course, in the afternoon, you will get time to play with this. There are booths, there are build-a-thons. The entire team is here for you to interact with. So once again, welcome to Epoch. So let me begin with it's very important for at least an organization like us to be thinking much, much long-term and thinking about the fundamental platform play that is possible in India and from India to the world in this area. So not going by quarters, but really thinking about decade-long opportunity. This is important because, frankly, in the last 5 decades of important technological revolutions, India has not built a platform that has outlasted multiple decades. This is our opportunity. We are seeing this happen in space. We are seeing this happen in, of course, quick commerce and fintech. I think India's opportunity in AI is also now. And for us, the third commitment is to have the time scale of decades and not quarters. So put together, this is really what Sarvam is doing. We are building at the frontier. We'll share all of that today. We are trying to create value for all. Today with developers and tomorrow with enterprises, we'll show you what we have. And thirdly, we want to have a long-term human positive outcome that we want to engineer together. So that's really our commitment. That's our mission statement. So that anchors us to the first question that we hear. And it's important, I thought, to start with this question because we still get this. There are still voices in the country that say we should not be training our models. There is Kimi K3 that came out of good friends at Moonshot. Maybe that's all we need. We don't need to be training our models. And I want to say that this is absolutely the wrong thing to do. We should absolutely be using the best models out there, both closed source, frontier, open source, but at the same time, making our bets to train models. And I want to give you Sarvam's insight into that. And the primary insight on why we should train our models comes from the fact that the key moat in the space of AI is not that you have an application, not that you have user base, but really that you have accumulated judgment, many of you call it taste, that you build over time. So there need to be teams who understand the continuum of the frontier, how it's evolving, and then build taste at it. If I recollect Sarvam's journey, it's been now 3 years. We started off building on top of the Llama model, which was the best open model at that time. In fact, Sarvam was the only company outside or maybe in Asia who contributed to the Llama 3 series. The Llama 4 series didn't go as well. But the Llama 3 series we contributed to, we understood a bunch of things about adding language skills into models. In fact, Llama 3 was reasonable in Indian languages. We contributed to that. Then when the first set of GPUs arrived in India, 1,000 of them, 1,000 Hopper series GPUs, we pre-trained from scratch a 2 billion model, a very tiny model, but we pre-trained that from scratch and worked with Infosys to make it useful for their IT services. Then we recognized that it is important to scale up on reinforcement learning, and on top of Mistral's small model, we built a reasoning model called Sarvam M. In fact, the first thinking Mistral model was built by Sarvam. We took the Mistral M model, and we built out a variant that was capable of thinking, and we scaled out on reinforcement learning. And then over the last year, we have gone and actually pre-trained from scratch in India on 4,000 Hopper series GPUs, a 100 billion plus parameter model. We, of course, released it, and there has been a lot of commercial updates that I would like to share with you right now. But the key point is, this has been a journey. And across this journey, we have accumulated judgment of what is good data, how do you go about training, how do you work with GPUs at scale, how do you ensure that the models that you train with a variety of algorithms that you have are actually useful for products. And it's very, very important that teams, of course for Sarvam definitely, but even teams externally, build this accumulated judgment as moat. The second thing I think is, given the significance AI has taken, it is important to recognize that you cannot bet the country's future on access to fair access to open models. Today, we have access to amazing open models, and we should be going super fast and using them all the time. But you cannot gate a country's progress to believing that there would be access to the technology which people think is a huge differentiator, right? It was very interesting. As I said, things change every quarter. There was a quarter of token maxing. Then there was a quarter now of complaining about expensive closed models. And maybe next year there's a quarter of closed Chinese models, right? It's important that we have our own ability to build models that we need for a variety of applications. And furthermore, it is not just about India. India has succeeded in building compelling global companies that have built in India and taken for the world. And the same can be absolutely done for AI. So while it's a no-brainer, while it's not worth spending too much time on, given that we continue to ask these questions, I think it's important to say it is significantly necessary that we have a model play, a frontier model play, and we are steadfastly on that track. The second thing worth talking about is that the training of the models gives us a very different vantage point to the entire stack of AI. Now, the picture here shows you the stack of AI. There is infrastructure, the GPUs, the data centers, there is models. On top of the models, of course, there are harnesses, which are systems that put together useful end-to-end work on top of the models. There is data sets, and eventually there are users and applications that people can build on top. And there are companies building at different layers of this, maybe doing a few of these different layers. But as a model builder, if we are zoomed into the model piece, we get a different vantage point for the entire stack. So what infra looks like to us, having trained on thousands of GPUs, is very different from what an inference provider is trying to provide. What to us harness looks like is very different because we are training these models. We understand where these models need to have load-bearing components in the harness. And of course, data is something that we understand deeply. And furthermore, even at the level of users, there is going to be a significant move towards looking at custom model build-out for a variety of applications. And we are, again, as a model builder, able to customize models for different applications. So that's the second important reason. While we need the stack and we need innovation across the stack, the vantage point of the model builder colors the stack interestingly. So what have we been doing at the model layer? You'll be hearing from a variety of teams today. My job is to give you a sneak peek without spoiling any of the things that are coming. So I have a bland-looking slide here that says that on all the different models we have been building, we have significant updates in the last several months. Firstly, on text, on large language models, we are going to be releasing the best conversational models and very, very effective models for agentic systems post-trained on our own sovereign models. So you'll hear the team talk about the most competitive conversational AI models that are available today in India, both the price point and the benchmarks. Secondly, on vision, we already had very accurate vision models specifically focused on documents, and you'll hear about how we have pushed those benchmarks and today are releasing very important results. Again, I'll hold it for the team to announce in terms of global competitiveness across all different languages. Thirdly, on speech recognition, we had excellent models which we released already last several months, but we are pushing it even further, taking on international competition even in other languages and showing that we can have the best model from India. Finally, on speech synthesis, we're going to be releasing extremely human-like expressive audio, which is better heard directly rather than you listening from me. So on all of these things, we continue to push and have much better models. All these models will be available for you to start building right away. The second thing that we want to talk about is, while these models we are building at a certain scale, we are going to significantly scale up what we are doing. On the data side, we are scaling up from tens of trillions of tokens to almost hundreds of trillions of tokens in terms of the data set with which we are training models. And while these might look like just numbers out there, the scale here is enormous. The amount of content required, the amount of engineering bandwidth required to do things at this scale is enormous. The second lever of scale, of course, is models. Very happy to announce that we are investing in trillion-plus parameter models right here in India, building them from scratch. To be able to be competitive on a range of tasks, including coding, cybersecurity, in the simulations, science, etc. Thirdly, we are talking about compute. I'm happy to announce that Sarvam has today access to the largest Blackwell cluster in India. We invested, and we are now able to run these clusters ourselves right from bare metal, and we are scaling them up to about 10,000 clusters, 10,000 accelerators going ahead. It's essential to be able to scale compute and run it reliably right here in our backyard if we want to do the first two things. And the third thing, of course, is to be able to scale reinforcement learning, which, as you know, is one of those algorithms which continue to pay dividends as models continue to be trained for much longer, including continual learning on specific tasks. So while we have been building models, you will see great results. Behind the scenes, we are cranking up each of these levers. More data, much larger models, much more compute, which is an investment in finding great compute in India, and of course, scaling up reinforcement learning. Apart from that, I also want to tell you what our aspiration on research is. While we build these large models, there are several other problems that we identify which we would like to put out there, which we are committing to solve. The first one is being able to build dense models on the edge. As you know, memory prices continue to go up, and it's not easy to put together large RAMs on machines. And while mixture of experts models have been amazing for scaling how AI looks like on the cloud, on the edge is important to build dense models that can fit into systems that we have. We have some interesting announcements of where our stack runs in local machines, but this is one thing we are investing in. The second thing is to build live interactive systems. We have been running voice AI at massive scale, the largest voice platform in the country. And from that, we have built the experience of how low latency real-time systems look like. And it is just not a matter of the harness. There are aspects of the model, there are aspects of systems engineering that needs to be done to have low latency, high fidelity, multimodal experiences. This is one research direction we are focused on. Thirdly, cyber systems. All of you are, of course, aware of cyber security. I would be surprised if any company here has not worried about cyber security in the last 1 month, just as we have worried. But because of that, we've also built stuff. I'm happy to announce you will see very good results today on what we have. But again, this is one place where we are trying to push the research and have frontier results on. The fourth point there is on building for real systems. We are working with the strategic sector, with the armed forces, and it's important to be able to build systems which can work to simulate real large systems and then operate them. So being able to have digital twins and simulate them on large models is something we are focused on. And finally, you need to think about India's strength. India has really succeeded in digital public goods, succeeded in large finance companies. So we sit on enormous amounts of customer data. How do you build foundation models for customer data? This is something that we hear a lot about in the market. I think there is real need for innovating at the space to bring that era of work to the LLM space. So we are building models. You'll see the updates. We are cranking up various levers. We're also identifying these key areas to focus on and push with a great research team that we have built. So while models is great, just switching context to the next layer, which is infrastructure, right? And while we build our own on interesting things we are doing to take this improvement loop and bring it to enterprises. In fact, the first of a kind research partnership with a very consequential company in India is going to be announced tomorrow, which is really this. Indian companies saying, we want to take and absorb innovation to have custom models that are built on our own data sets. So this is one of the immediate outcomes of infrastructure and model research that we do at Sarvam. Now, moving on, we all know that variety of, while AI is today's generation of technology improvement, technology has been improving significantly over time. And the primary way it typically happens is if you can convert molecules from one form to the another. So whether it was textiles, whether it was steel, and whether it was semiconductor in the late 1980s, it was about actually putting together systems that manufacture interesting things that people need. And it is important that India has not just the ambition on the model, but also has the ambition to be able to manufacture the core component, which is in tokens in today's time. So one of the key things, and this is a new thing that you're hearing from Sarvam's ambition, we want to be able to have the largest share of tokens produced in India. Right? Today, We consume, yes. Today we consume AI from different vendors, some of it international, some Indian, but most of our tokens are produced externally outside the country. Unlike buying and importing steel, which is a bad thing to do, it is a double whammy to be buying AI tokens. Not only are you giving away the control to manufacture, you are actually also giving away data, right? So not only the usual problem of an exchange rate comes up as you import, but you're actually also giving away data. And important companies have talked about it. Microsoft, Satya Nadella has talked about it. Palantir's CEO has talked about it. This is not a secret, right? It is important to recognize that having sovereignty on how you manufacture your intelligence, which is AI tokens, is very important to be able to be competitive on this. So Sarvam's goal is to be able to produce the largest share of tokens that India consumes right here in India, and of course make it available to the world. And for that, we are today announcing, and you'll hear a bunch of interesting results, technical and otherwise, on an inference platform running right in India, which will serve server models, but a range of frontier open models, bringing the best of innovation that is out there at price points, at globally competitive price points. You shouldn't have to pay a tax to use models here in India. We want to have Indian developers, Indian enterprises use our models, but use also the frontier open models deployed right here in India with data security of the highest order, reliability and price that are globally competitive. So this is something that we'll talk a lot about. It's a very exciting thing that we are doing, and there are many opportunities this opens up for builders on top of things. By the way, building, just like I said, model building, of course, you recognize is hard. Building a token factory that is globally competitive involves many hard problems. A bunch of them are mentioned here. You need to be able to take thousands of GPUs, take a bunch of workloads that are coming and be able to route them, be able to differentiate and disaggregate parts of the compute, be able to deal with what is called KV cache extremely well, be able to manage the memory hierarchy. There is hierarchy on the GPU, on the chip. There is hierarchy outside the chip, in the disk, and a shared file system, manage all of that, and of course, do kernel level optimizations on running the model on the GPU itself. So a bunch of hard problems need to be solved, and again, like the concept of frontier applies to the model and the harness, it applies here as well. Models change, GPUs change, the methodologies change, and you need to be remaining at the absolute frontier to be able to competitively serve these tokens. So we are focused on all of that. We have a great inferencing team, and they will have great announcements to make today. I talked about models, I talked about the token factory on the right side, but of course, given that our mission is to create value, we are deeply interested in how all of this reaches builders, knowledge workers, and general users. And then the middle between token factory and these users, apart from the models need to be there for text, for vision, for odd speech, but on top of it, you need harnesses. You actually need, in my mind, I think of the model as the CPU today. And the harness is the operating system that operates the CPU. It would be very strange going ahead, maybe in a year's time, to be using the model directly, just as it is very strange for writing assembly on CPUs. You use CPUs by writing applications on top of an operating system. Likewise, the amount of high-quality productive work you can get done by using a harness which is able to scaffold and do interesting things on top of a model is enormous. And over the last 3 months, we have spent time building harnesses which look at how do you optimize skills, memory, tools, sub-agents, RLMs, being able to do this dynamically and hill climbing on the prompts, and have some amazing results to show you on how we are competitive on the harness layer globally. And this is very important because you might have the best token factory, you might have the best models. You need to ensure for that combination of models, you have the right harness that gets to the right performance. And you would see work done on work agents, work being done on coding agents, on cybersecurity agents, are all at the level of building great harnesses. So we have today announcements across the board on the infrastructure, on the models, the new models that we're announcing, better models that we are building, and also on the products. But the goal, of course, continues to remain that we need to build at the frontier. And while you see a bunch of people innovating, this is also an open invitation for us to build more as a whole of industry effort. China did not succeed rapidly on AI because a couple of labs went and built AI. It was a whole of industry effort for people to collaborate, universities, startups, organizations. There's far more exchange of ideas and richness that China is able to weave. In fact, the Chinese premier said, no string can weave a cloth by itself. Incidentally, Epoch's theme is also about weaving, and we see building at the frontier as something that we need to do together, and we encourage all of you to deeply engage with what you hear today, and also contribute to the discussions outside this room, and reach out to us on how you can build the frontier together in India. With that intro, I'm going to introduce the first speaker, Mohit Singla, to come over, please.
Yeah, Sarvam. Is it on? Yeah. Sarvam 105B. So we released the checkpoint in February, and we have been getting the feedback. And with the feedback, we have taken a hunch at improving the model checkpoint. Okay. Yeah. So what we have done, we have not just improved the 105B, but we have also now tuned it for our internal products. So I'll be discussing two of the products where we have actually aced the model and pushed the bar at the frontier. First is conversational agents. And with conversational agents, what we did was we took the liberty to create our own benchmark, which actually shows what are the issues happening at the frontier models when you actually deploy the models in conversational agents. So something like voice call capabilities, like ambiguous messages, noise in ASR, those things. How does the model actually reply to those things? Instruction following. You have some instruction in the system prompt that you have to verbatimly say it in the 10th turn. You have to end the conversation by saying, "Array sir, we are done for today." Is the model able to do? So we have taken the production data and we have built a benchmark that really represents the use case and compared GPT 5.4 mini, Gemini 3.5 Flash with Sarvam 105B, and the model is like really acing it. Just to go over the pricing, 105B, if you compare with the frontier models out there, it's way, way cheaper. Compared to 5.4 mini, it's like 5.5 times cheaper, and 3.5 Flash, it's 11 times cheaper. So the amount of intelligence you get per dollar is insanely high if you compare to the open source models. So we will serve this model in India at scale. This will be available as an API. People will be able to use it right away, and we are already serving crores of minutes on this model in our platforms. Yeah, here are a few examples I'll go over through, like just to show how Sarvam 105B is acing the things. Here's an assistant asking about some policy, whether the user is interested in buying the policy document or not. And the user has a simple query like, what are the changes in policy documents or something. So Sarvam 105B retrieves some 15 sets of documents as a tool call, and then just very succinctly puts in a very, how the user has asked in the same coded language to reply back. While other models like Gemini, what we observed, they go over all the 15 points which it has retrieved. They are not very direct, and the language is what we really ace at. Another example is here where it's showing how instruction following is really working in the model. In the system prompt, it's like return that you cannot make any assumptions. You can only do a tool call about clearing the balance if the user is very, very clear. And what we observed in the production logs was the frontier models actually do not follow this many times very well. And this is very, very important given money is involved here. So what Sarvam 105B really aces at here in this example is, since this is an ambiguous query by the user, the model goes and actually clarifies rather than making decisions on its own. Yeah. So this was conversational agents. Conversational agents, we are pretty confident we can claim this is the best conversational model available, hosted in India, and at way cheaper price, and it will be available in API as well. Moving to work agents, we have also tuned Sarvam 105B for our work agents, where the model is actually able to perform inside the harness. Yeah. Yeah. Work agents. Yeah. So what we have done is we have taken 105B and this is the slide. Yeah. So we have taken the 105B and actually compared it with other frontier models like GLM 5.2. And using the same harness, I think, which we'll reveal today, the model is actually delivering way better intelligence per dollar if you compare the benchmark. Things like security, tool use, the model is already near the frontier. And within a harness, the model is actually able to perform what GLM 5.2 is able to almost do. And note that GLM 5.2 is almost 7 times larger and has way more active parameters compared to Sarvam 105B. That's what a harness can deliver when you put a model and tune for it. Yeah. So here is the magic what's happening now. So Sarvam 105B is good on the harness. GLM 5.2 is killing it. But what we have is a model orchestration for the work agents. We don't have to route everything to GLM 5.2 because Sarvam 105B is already doing a lot of work. And it can easily solve easy queries or the direct things which we need to do. So what we have done here is we have tuned a router which is able to understand which request can go to Sarvam 105B and which can go to 5.2. And in our internal testing, what we found out was in our day-to-day use, 36% of the queries are already solvable with Sarvam 105B. And we are able to reduce the cost of the harness by 40%. That's like real magic happening here now. Some of the examples using Sarvam 105B showing what it all can do in the harness. So this is what we took. We took an e-commerce spreadsheet, gave it to the model in harness, and asked it to analyze what are the things happening in this spreadsheet, something like what's the return rate, how much category returned, and why it is getting returned most. I have a small video to show you. So here it went and created a detailed HTML showing which category was most used, created full graphs and full did analysis on Google spreadsheet. So just a Google spreadsheet link, and the model in the harness is able to deliver all of this. Another example is this interactive explainer. Think of this like as a 12th class student trying to understand projectile motion. The simple task given to the model is create an interactive projectile simulator as per JScope, and the model has created an HTML which is actually able to simulate the whole projectile motion inside this HTML. Yeah, just playing the video for you. So it has created all the different types of projectiles possible, given the levers you can control, and then you can visualize and get the feel how the physics is working inside it. So with harness, Sarvam 105B is delivering a very, very good intelligence per dollar value, and I think that's all, yeah.
Thank you, Mohit. I just want to reiterate. There are 2 versions of the model. One version is to work on voice, low latency, what is technically called an instruct model, which can power voice AI at scale. Today, after I had the experience of running hundreds of minutes of voice AI calling, we have the clarity, we have the experience of what it takes to provide low-cost, low-latency voice reasoning. And if you are building a voice bot today, the cheapest, fastest, then the most scalable solution that you get hosting for in India is this one. In fact, the GPT model that is mentioned is not available in India. I understand from the folks at Google that the Gemini model that is here is not sometimes available at scale. And it is significantly cheaper. And that is the advantage of building products and then taking that insight and making AI much smaller, which is what India scale provides. What you saw, the second one was the reasoning model. It is intended to do much harder tasks, and it's able to now dipped inside a harness with a router load bear against much larger models and reduce the cost of the application, right? Again, this is the kind of optimization that is possible as you build across the stack. Now, let me invite Krishna to talk about what we are doing on vision.
Hello, good morning, everyone. Let me quickly recap what we did earlier this year in February. We launched Sarvam Vision 1.0, which was at the time SOTA on a global benchmark called Olmo OCR Bench. And we covered the following capabilities, such as multilingual visual reasoning, English handwritten, and Indic OCR, of course, and then dealing with structured outputs. Since the launch, we have digitized about 35 million plus pages already with Sarvam 1.0. Today, Today we are going to release Sarvam 2.0. In this model, we have several new capabilities, first of which is native key value extraction. Now, to our best knowledge, this is the first model to perform native key value extraction across all other competitor models, such as DeepSeek OCR, Paddle, and what have you. And then we also have added capabilities to perform Indic handwritten recognition. And furthermore, we've improved on complex table parsing and general Indic and general OCR of English. Now, here's a chart that I'm going to present. On the y-axis, you have Olmo OCR Bench, and on the x-axis, you have OmniDoc Bench. What I'm going to present to you today is Pareto Frontier. Now, what is Pareto Frontier? A Pareto Frontier is where you cannot improve upon one axis without degrading performance on the other. Now, if you take traditional OCR, which are the models down this bottom left corner, we have AWS Tesseract, Google Cloud Vision, and Azure, etc. These rank extremely low on the Pareto Frontier. Why? Because these are not intelligent models. With the advent of VLMs, we have moved the Pareto Frontier quite significantly. And at launch in February, we had Sarvam Vision 1.0 at the Pareto Frontier, not at the Pareto, but somewhere below, but we were SOTA at the launch. So we optimized for a single benchmark and got very good results. Now, on Olmo OCR Bench, what do we test? We test things like OCR in the wild with dense, degraded documents. And on OmniDoc Bench, we test things like structure under pressure. How well do you extract complex tables? Can you perform reading order correctly, and so forth? In doc intelligence, these are very, very important problems. Like one small problem in your extraction, and then your entire downstream workflows with agents and so on go awry. Now, with Sarvam Vision 2.0, we are glad to announce that we have pushed the Sarvam Vision Pareto Frontier. And the best part is we've created a whole new Pareto region here. Nobody was out there. Nobody has been able to do it without degrading on one or the other. The two SOTA models on OmniDoc and Olmo OCR, respectively, are extremely optimized to one type of documents, wherein you either do well on in-the-wild documents or you do well on structure. At Sarvam, we really, really care about getting best of both worlds, and hence we are releasing Sarvam 2.0, which is gonna be very optimal for document processing. Now, just to give you a flavor, like I said, we are gonna be doing complex key value extractions and so on. So previously, we were parsing tables as simple markdowns, etc. Now you have the ability to extract a table as a key value pair, as a JSON. And similarly, you give a rental agreement or any document in general, you can extract all kinds of key values from forms as well. And similarly, we've made strides on Indian language OCR. For example, in Tamil, in Hindi, in all 22 languages. And not just OCR, even when there is Indian language forms filled in, like, say, Hindi or other languages, we are able to extract them with very good accuracy. And finally, we are also excited to introduce Sarvam Vision Edge, which you can run on your computers. And as a case study, today I'm going to show you a project we are doing with Odisha government, where we are helping them digitize their land records, wherein, if you see, these are some of the most complicated documents there are out there, where it's just handwritten and it's haphazardly written and maintained and so on. And we are able to perform document-level key value extractions for them to digitize their entire land record database today. And finally, the Sarvam Vision 2.0 model will be available on API and our platform. Please check it out, and looking forward to your feedback. Thank you.
Thank you, Krishna. Specific mention here was the work on KV extraction, which, by the way, is key value extraction, was again work that came because we worked out there with an insurance company, and we realized that people just don't want OCR. They actually want to find the name of the person, the address of the person, and you need to tune models for that. So it was again an example of being out there trying to find what the problem is and then building models for them. Very proud of the team that they go push against global models and see where we stand and keep improving. Really proud also of the work we are doing with the Odisha government. These are very hard problems, and it's an interesting partnership. It's again a kind of opportunity that India has today. This is a research partnership with the state government. A state government says, we have a tough problem, come in and solve it for us. We will give you data, we will hill climb on this particular task and actually show you results. And this has just begun. We are, I think, about 50% accuracy, but we climbed from something like 13, 14%, and we are very confident that we can continue to do this. As the next speaker, I'm going to invite Aditya to talk about speech recognition.
Okay, speech recognition has kind of been the soul of Sarvam, right? So from day one, we have always relentlessly focused on getting all languages in India covered, and no matter how low resource it is. And with great enthusiasm, I present that we have gone even a step further and present you the next generation model, Saras V4. Saras V4 completely leaves the competition behind and further improves on our Indic dominance. Not only this, on all languages that are commonly used, the gap seems even wider, right? Reaffirming our commitment to ultra-low resource languages, we also have support for the 22 constitutional languages of India, where the data is very limited, and we successfully are able to transcribe these audios. So I think this is a great thing, and none of the competitor models have reached here. Okay, I think we have shown a lot about Indic dominance and how we continue to show great performance, but one of the languages that has been left out is English. And for the first time, we are very proud to present that Saras V4 is now SOTA on global English. On 7 standard English benchmarks, 6 of them, mind you, are foreign and global English. We show the best performance average across all these sets. So this is truly the Sarvam moment of build in India for the world. It's your audio. You have the power to now choose the mode, choose the type of transcription that you want. Whether you want romanized, code mix, translation, it's one model, 5 modes. Your audio, your style of transcript. Saras V4 is built for the hardest of your audios. Noise, we have made significant leaps on this and show much better performance on the noisiest set, that is cut butt, and are able to handle the noisiest ones. Play this. Is it audible?
एक बात सुनो ना मैडम, दोनों मिलाकर एक बात सुनो ना मैडम, दोनों मिलाकर
Insane, right?
एक बात सुनो ना मैडम, एक बात सुनो ना मैडम।
Next slide. Okay, so I think we've talked a lot about single speaker ASR, and we have made significant strides and done really great in going on Indic, English, and showing SOTA performance. The next frontier, we believe, for ASR is multi-speaker ASR, and this is where the competition really struggles. We have thought this whole field on how we can transcribe speech when two people are speaking, and not only speaking in distinct boundaries, but during overlaps and heavy noise and heavy back and forth, back channels. So we have redefined the field, rethought the architecture, and come up with a new model, which is the Saras V4 multi-speaker model. So this is how you have a conventional pipeline, right? So you have an audio, and you have a diarization piece. What the ASR does is it cuts the audio into single pieces, and you transcribe each of that piece, right? What Saras V4 multi-speaker does is it combines both of them into a single model. It has a speaker biased encoder, and it kind of outputs all the transcripts speaker-wise while maintaining sanctity of overlap and back channels, right? So I'll just show you a demo.
पर भी सरकार की जवाबदेही बनती है, और रिफॉर्म को लेकर क्या सुधार की जब बात हो रही है, वो संसद में ही होगा ना सर, वहां भी होगा हंगामा। सड़क पर सुनिए ना, सड़क पर तो कर ही रहे हैं आप लोग प्रदर्शन, लेकिन संसद पर इस पर चर्चा क्यों नहीं? आपके लिए ये दोनों में से मैं अगर एक चीज चुनने को बोलूं तो क्या इस वक्त सबसे जरूरी है? दोनों में से सबसे जरूरी एक चीज बताइए सर, जिस पर अभी चर्चा हो सके। क्या जरूरी है?
हाँ बिल्कुल, लोकतंत्र में सभी को आंदोलन करने का अधिकार है।
संसद के अंदर भी आंदोलन करेंगे, सत्र नहीं चलने देंगे,
फिर आप
वहां पर भी हंगामा करिए।
मैं संसद की बात नहीं कर रहा हूँ,
मैं संसद की बात कर रही हूँ, मैं संसद की बात कर रही हूँ।
So like you looked, it's absolutely insane. When people, no model today can transcribe two people speaking at the same time. So this model kind of pulls apart the overlap speech and correctly assigns the male speaker as well as the female anchor in this case. So I think this is a generational leap in multi-speaker technology. Yeah. So while this is an anecdotal example, you might argue, but our results are quantitative and not only qualitative. The biggest problem we face is there is no multi-speaker Indic benchmark. For this purpose, today, we have open sourced the first multi-speaker conversational heavy overlap data. It's available on Hugging Face for all of you. And I'm happy to say that it covers all 22 languages, has over 1,200 speakers, and covers 108 hours of audio. And these are, mind you, real conversational hard audios that are part of our everyday TV news, conversational over dinner tables where people keep interacting, and feel free to benchmark your models and build on top of this. And on this benchmark, we completely blow away the competition, both on DER and CPWER. CPWER is the concatenated metric for both diarization and ASR quality, shows how well they work in conjunction. And DER specifically, which was the original metric, shows how good your diarization model performs in isolation. So as you can see, in both these metrics, CPWER and DER, on Indic Dire Bench, which is our 22 language benchmark, we are right there in the bottom, right? Also on English, which is the standard AMI benchmark, you see there too we have amazing performance. So we are really excited for you to try this. Both Saras V4 and Saras V4 multi-speaker are live in the API. They're live in the playground. So I encourage you to go try. And as you always have shown so much love on our speech-to-text and ASR models, continue doing so. And we're really excited to see what you can build with these models. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Aditya. Two things there, right? So one is taking on global benchmarks, but redefining benchmarks with Indian news channel audio, right? That is a different benchmark, and I think that when people define AGI, they should be adding that, right? It's very hard to understand what's happening, but really proud of the work that the team has done in speech recognition. And they are absolutely going to build for all global languages, and it's going to come soon, so I'm going to spoil their thing for the next one. I've been asked to get out of the stage. Over to you, team.
तुम्हें पता है, इस भागती हुई दुनिया में दिन का सबसे सुकून वाला पल वही होता है जब तुम्हारी आवाज सुनाई देती है।
मम्मी, मुझे ना बुलबुल V4 बहुत पसंद आई। एकदम मैजिक है।
ఆవిడ నిట్టూర్చింది. అయ్యో పాపమ్మ పిల్ల ఒక్కతే ఇద్దరు పిల్లల్ని పెంచుతోంది. మనం ఏమైనా చేయగలిగితే బాగుండు.
सुन लो दुर्योधन, ये केवल क्रोध नहीं, ये उस अपमान की अग्नि है जो वर्षों से मेरे हृदय में जल रही है। आज अन्याय का अंत होगा। छत्रपती शिवाजी महाराजांच्या पराक्रमाची ही भूमी आहे। बोला जय शिवाजी, जय भवानी, हर हर महादेव।
Breaking news coming in. We are tracking a deeply alarming disaster unfolding high up in the northern face of Mount Nanda Devi. Information from the remote camps is incredibly scarce right now.
छे यार, ये किस हाल में छोड़ा है? सफाई का नामो निशान नहीं। उफ।
देखंतु देखंतु नंदी घोष रथ गड़ुची बड़दाण्ड उपरे। प्रभु आज समस्त बाहरी राजा हुअंतु रंक हुअंतु आज समस्त समान हृदय भरी आसुची। जय श्री जगन्नाथ।
श्वासः एव जीवनस्य प्रथमः संगीतः अस्ति। तस्य लयेन सह यदा मनः एकत्वं प्राप्नोति तदा अंतरे शान्तिः स्वयमेव प्रकाशते।
So inviting Praveen and Arijit to come on, Himanshu to come on stage. What you saw now was Navarasa, the 9 sort of emotions that we expect art to evoke, and the team went about figuring out the 9 examples from Bulbul that can demonstrate them. Over to them to talk about the model.
So I hope that video got you all hyped up. That was Bulbul V4. Bulbul has been powering India's speech for a few generations now, and today we are announcing the next in line, Bulbul V4.
And I hope you all are as excited as us for this model. We are bringing to you one of India's most expressive TTS ever. And you know, this really took a lot of effort. It took us a lot of iterations on the model architecture. We had to figure out the right data mixtures and the training curriculum to make sure that the model you get is expressive, not in just 1 or 2, but in many Indian languages. And what's more, Bulbul V4 is going to come up with a new set of capabilities that you are going to love. So let's take a look. So the first thing, if you are a creator or you are a developer, one feature you would be very interested in is the ability to steer the model to make it speak the way you want it to. Let's take an example. Suppose you're enacting the scene of a woman winning the lottery. The classic way to do it is you input the text and then you hit generate. Let's see how it sounds.
I cannot believe we actually won the lottery. This is life-changing, but I just wish my dad were here to see it.
Well, that was all right, but ideally you want a bit more excitement, right? Well, with Bulbul V4, you can do this. You just add the emotion tags you want. You can even add paralinguistics like laughter, and you can even emphasize the words you want to stress on. So let's take a look.
I cannot believe we actually won the lottery. This is life-changing, but I just wish my dad were here to see it.
Well, that was a bit better. But it's still not there, guys. I mean, humans are a bag of mixed emotions, and ideally you'd want the last part to hit a just bit sad, right? Well, with Bulbul V4, you can re-steer the model mid-generation and make it change expressions. Let's try it out.
I cannot believe we actually won the lottery. This is life-changing. But I just wish my dad were here to see it.
So that's Bulbul V4 for you. Direction at your fingertips. But there's more. Expressions won't just be enough. We need to give you the ability to translate these expressions into real-world usage. And for that, we're bringing to you a whole new range of voices which can work for every use case, for every domain. Think EdTech, think voice agents, think content creation, think cricket commentary. Building with Bulbul is going to be limitless. Let's take a listen.
ओवर की आखिरी गेंद, गेंदबाज दौड़ते हुए आते हैं, फुल लेंथ की गेंद और बल्लेबाज ने जोरदार प्रहार किया है। गेंद आसमान में बहुत ऊंची चली गई है। लॉन्ग ऑन की फील्डर की नजर गेंद पर टिकी हुई है, वो उसके नीचे है, इंतजार, और ये गई सीमा रेखा के पार। शानदार छक्का! क्या बेहतरीन अंदाज में बल्लेबाज ने इस ओवर का अंत किया है। पूरा स्टेडियम तालियों और नारों से गूंज उठा है।
देखो, यहाँ सबसे बड़ी गलती क्या होती है, बच्चे डायरेक्टली फॉर्मूला लगा देते हैं। पहले फ्री बॉडी डायग्राम बनाओ, कौन कौन सी फोर्सेस एक्ट कर रही हैं वो आइडेंटिफाई करो, उसके बाद नेट फोर्स निकालो, फिर इक्वेशन लिखो।
हे सर्किट, लाइफ में टेंशन लेने का नहीं, देने का भी नहीं, बिंदास रहने का, खुल के हंसने का, और मौका मिले तो एक जादू की झप्पी दे देने का। बाकी सब अपने आप सेट हो जाएगा, समझा क्या?
किसी ने पूछा, इतना बड़ा मॉडल है, लेटेंसी तो बहुत होगी। मैं क्या, ओ नहीं यार, ये बेंगलुरु दा ट्रैफिक थोड़ा ही है कि 5 किलोमीटर जान ली 1 घंटा लग जाए।
So, at Sarvam, our goal is not just to build frontier tech, but we want to use the frontier tech to empower, to preserve, and to represent India's diversity. India has had a long tradition of oral history. India has a culture which is rooted in speech and voices. Let's just see how Bulbul V4 enables that.
हेप्राविया मैनेजरा ओसाते पासनावरे भूलेई दो इना मोने खोन आंगीभार हाताव इदी एकादा कैटरिंग आर रस्का खोन एतोहब काते दुरुब रेया बंदेज सानामागे संतोर सहित चाचलाव दो मिट्टंग रिहेई साताम।
Gentlemen, if this great digital express of AI leaves the station, leaving a dozen glorious Indian languages stranded on the platform, we haven't just missed a train, we have surrendered our intellectual sovereignty. You simply cannot secure a nation's future by speaking exclusively in borrowed tongues.
So that audio of Field Master Sam Manaxo was generated by our model, was cloned by our model. So India has variety and diversity of voices, of styles, of speakers. Our goal is to preserve that. And for that, we are coming up with a voice program where we want to collaborate with a lot of ecosystems. What it means, if you are a brand, Bulbul V4 will allow you to come up with your brand voice, onboard it, clone it, and use it for all your applications. If you are a creator, you can use our platform to make your voice reach to larger audiences through the applications. And if you are a voice artist, it will allow you to lend your voice to all the enterprises and millions of developers who are actively using Sarvam platform. We believe that India's diversity and of languages deserves a prominent space in the AI-led generation, and Bulbul V4 is going to preserve that. And Bulbul V4 is the next step in that milestone of ours. That's it.
So this was indeed a next major release. So there are always questions, is it a next release or is it a dot release? This was for us really showing that we can build expressive speech in India. We are very proud of the model, absolutely ready to take head-on global providers who are building in Indian languages with the best models served out of India and with price points that will be extremely, extremely competitive. So very proud of the team and what they have done in the last couple of months. Thank you, folks. So we talked about variety of models, the improvements that we have done in all of them, but we also, as we said, want to bring this to other organizations. While the token factory is an important infrastructure for you to use models that are already built, I think another infrastructure the world is missing is the infrastructure to train your own custom models. And to talk about that, I would like to invite Romit.
Hi, good morning, folks. I'll start with the opinion that I think all of you can agree with, is that training large language models is really tough. And that difficulty comes in many layers, but if we start, I'll just wait for this. Yeah. From procuring GPUs to getting your first successful run on those GPUs in an optimized manner takes weeks, if not months of engineering effort. Usually the capacity is really bottlenecked, and even if you get the GPUs, setting up the software infrastructure on top of that takes a lot of expertise. You need expertise in storage layer, you need expertise in network layer, and then you also need to understand how to orchestrate your training jobs. Apart from that, once you get the whole cluster up, optimizing your training and utilizing the hardware to the maximum takes a lot of effort in getting the knobs right. If you have worked with any of the optimized training frameworks, you know that there are hundreds and hundreds of flags. And all the combinations change model to model. So we are announcing that we will package all of this in a single Python SDK that you can run from your laptop and submit to our infrastructure for training the models. You just get your data set in, and you'll get the checkpoint out. And we are starting with support for reinforcement learning using LoRa. And I have a couple of pointers on what decisions we have taken. So if we take a walkthrough of what happens in reinforcement learning, specifically in the gRPO domain, we have a generation worker and a training worker, which alternate between doing the useful work on GPUs. So when the one worker is working, the other working is really sitting idle and not utilizing the GPUs at all. So to solve this, we are indexing on async RL, where the generation worker and the training worker overlap on their useful work, and we can get the maximum throughput of the training. The other bottleneck that comes out is that we have to sync weights between the training worker and the generation worker, and this can easily blow up into GBs or maybe TBs of weight sync, which can really put a pressure on the network between the nodes. So we are starting support with LoRa, which really boils down the number of trainable parameters to a very small number of space, which can easily communicate between two nodes. And we, as Pratyush was mentioning, we helped one of our customers to hill climb on their own environment. They bought the data in, they trained it on our infrastructure, and really was able to get the best performance out of it. Thank you.
So this is something that is new. Of course, we are aware of offerings like Tinker from Thinking Labs, which allows companies to go and build custom models. And as Romit said, the key thing is to abstract out all the hardness of the infrastructure, all the hardness of including certain good taste choices on the reinforcement learning algorithm side, like he showed. It's actually 30 lines of code. You run 30 lines of code on your laptop, you design your environment, you help with your reward design, and then you run it on our infrastructure. It's secure, it's safe, it is your IP. The model that you get is your model. It is not Sarvam's model, it's your model. We provide the know-how, the expertise to do it. And in fact, we will work with companies where they need a little bit more help on the research side to help curate the data and then get outputs. We are not able to share the particular company that we did this with, but this custom model that was built led to an optimized model that was 6 times cheaper. And now this optimized model we can run in our own token factory and provide them throughput at speed. I think that's the opportunity. That's where the value loop of AI, instead of it being external, sometimes even outside the country, remains within a company. So very, very interested to figure out how people can build frontier scale from their laptop. So all of this is about models. The last part of the models is I want to invite on stage Devendra. Devendra, wherever you are, please come on stage. Yes. Welcome, Devendra. I know you just flew in yesterday. So at Sarvam, we want to build the best class models that are globally competitive. And part of this is about ensuring that the great minds who are building for various companies across the world also build for India. So A, we're announcing a San Francisco office where we will be hiring people who can contribute to this mission. And B, we would like to announce associations with people like Devendra. Devendra, you want to quickly and introduce yourself, please?
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Pratyush, for having me. Very glad to be here. I just flew in yesterday from San Francisco, and I'm very excited to help Sarvam as an advisor and help Sarvam build the best models in the world. And a little bit about my background. I was most recently at XAI. I was the pre-training lead there. And before that, I was part of founding teams at Mistral and Thinking Machines Lab. And I worked on training many large language models, including all the models from Mistral, like Mistral 7, B8, X7B, Mistral Large. And then at Thinking Machines, I was the Tinker Enterprise lead.
So welcome, Devendra. So quickly for this audience, Devendra, we have a bunch of developers. What does it take to build a frontier? Can you give your point of view? What does it take to really go for the frontier in terms of numbers?
Yeah, so this is a good question. So a lot of people think that building at the frontier requires a lot of resources. That is like some people think it's impossible to get in India, and that's not true. Like let's think about like what does it take? Like if you think about let's say a Kimi K3 size model, like 3 trillion total parameters, 100 billion or so active parameters, and let's say even if you want to train it for 100 trillion tokens. That takes about 6 into 10 raised to power 25 flops to train, just for the pre-training. And this amount of flops with like a good utilization on Blackwell GPUs, you can train, like pre-train this model in about like 2 months with 10,000 chips, which you just announced. So it's not, it's very possible in terms of like compute to do this in India. This is not, exorbitantly expensive or anything. So it's like if you look at the numbers, like we can train these models in about like just free training in about 2 months. Of course, like reinforcement learning and research and post training will take more compute, but it's very possible.
So about 10,000 Blackwells, let's say 4 to 6 months to complete the entire cycle. That's what it takes to build some of these frontier
exactly,
models, right? In terms of talent, what does it take? How do you think about teams that go about building for frontier?
Yeah, Pratyush, I've been part of like founding teams of 2 like frontier model labs, and this is I think another like misconception that it takes a lot of experienced people. That's not true. I think you need a handful of experienced people, but mostly you need a lot of motivated and talented people, and that's something we have plenty in India, right?
Absolutely.
So. Yeah, I think like, if you think about it, this technology is not that old. Even the people who have experience, like myself, I have only like, few years of experience working on this. And like, I think a lot of people can build that experience very quickly. Like, so if you have the right guidance, a few experienced people, you can, catch up, learn this very, very quickly. So I don't think, experience is the bottleneck. It says, if you have talented and motivated people, this can be.
So lots of talented, motivated people in this room, I suppose, right? Who want to build the frontier, right? I want to just re-emphasize what you said, right? It's, of course, you need to know certain things. Some experience does it buy you something. It's really teams that are mission-oriented, can actually go towards the problem with a lot of energy. Great. So 10,000 Blackwells for 6 months. Few experienced people, but lots of motivated people. But what does the future look like? When you think about it, there's all this talk about AGI. Maybe we are in the foothills of AGI. Maybe we are climbing. Maybe we have climbed. What do you think, where we are now, and what does the world look like? 10 years later, what do you think is going to happen?
That's a great question. So, let me like flip the question and ask you, like 10 years from now, what do you want the world to look like? Do you want a world where there are only 3 models in the world, or do you want a world where there are thousands of models? And I think it's
thousands.
good. Yeah, I think like most people will say thousands of models, right? And I think it's good for the world, right? Like if there are thousands of models. Of course, competition, breeds innovation. Specialization is better than like one size fits all. Like different enterprises, different users have different needs. They want models of different sizes, models at different price points. But specifically for India, like we have so many, of course, languages, so many cultures. We have our own educational system, own legal system, own public policy, right? And so we want to have models that can be customized for all of these things, right? And this is the reason we absolutely need to build models here. People ask like why build models? Why there are like plenty of other open models out there. And you mentioned this in the
Bay Area. The thing that struck me was that while there is this mechanistic focus of getting to intelligence and AGI and so on, we need to ensure that people and countries are in the center of that loop, right? And sometimes people crave for that impact. And I think India is very nicely positioned, both with its tech talent, as you said, motivated, talented people, but also enormous impact to be created for people, right? And that double engine needs to work, and I think we have a real opportunity. Once again, very glad to be associated, Devendra, and look forward to building frontier-scale models together at Sarvam. Thank you.
Thank you, Pratish.
Cool. That was models, lots of models. You will get to play with all of them. But now I would like to invite my co-founder Vivek Raghavan to come on stage and talk about infrastructure.
Hi everyone. So I think Pratish talked about in his initial remarks. I'm proud to announce Sarvam Inference, and Sarvam Inference is actually a platform to serve SOTA open weights models served from Indian infrastructure in globally competitive styles. Think about it. So the best models in the world, the truth today is that today if I want to use any of the top open source models in the world, I need to do it when it's not hosted in India. And obviously for many, many reasons, because if you want to control the intelligence, these things need to run on Indian infrastructure. So of course we will serve all our models that we've talked about earlier, like Saras and Bulbul and Vision, and the dubbing models, which we'll talk about later in the day. But I think I want to focus on 3 models that we are going to be serving as part of the Sarvam Inference. And we're going to talk a little bit more about them. It's GLM 5.2, Gemma 4, as well as Sarvam 105. And these are 3 models that are going to be available to be served at scale from India. So I think the interesting thing is, I think a lot of people start with a model that's there, from Hugging Face. But actually, it takes a lot of work to take from where an open model is to actually being able to serve it at scale. And there are things, and we've actually built an agentic model optimization loop. And I think, we have a team here, Ashwin and team have actually made this happen. And I think they've actually done a bunch of things by leveraging bespoke kernels, working on the frameworks and the schedulers, and tuning systems to actually make these models run reliably at low cost and at scale. And I think an example of the kinds of things that they can do literally, and this is a smaller model, and you can actually build these agentic systems to start from a model which is at a Hugging Face and actually say overnight, optimize a whole bunch of things automatically. And in certain cases, we were able to achieve about a 15x speed up in the inference capability of that model in a single day using kind of these agentic systems. So I think that let's talk about GLM 5.2. Those who know GLM 5.2, it's a 768 billion parameter MOE model. It's one of the most capable models in the world today. And we will be serving it from India at a globally competitive price. and provide 80 tokens per second. So this is, I mean, I don't know if people know, GLM 5.2 is one of the most amazing models that are out there, open models, and this is one model that we're going to serve at massive scale with Sarvam. Another model which is a little bit of a smaller model, but also a model which we want to focus on being able to create the Gemma 4 31B model. We're actually also going to serve that at scale. We're actually going to we're going to run it in a manner that is actually extremely, the time to first token is actually going to be extremely competitive, less than 0.6 seconds, and at a price, again, that is globally competitive. And I think this is a way that actually can dramatically change the kinds of models that you use to build your applications. And in addition to that, we will host the best models for any conversational use case in India, whether it is, whether it is for instruction following or tool calling or voice call capability, and we're about 9x cheaper than actually any other kind of model that you use today for these class of things. So this is a dramatic change, and I think this is a way that, when many of you people are using models today to build your applications, these models that we are having from Sarvam will actually, from Sarvam Inference, can actually make a huge difference. And I'm going to end with actually something that, in addition to that, if anybody, in addition to that, we will have 30% off for anybody who has committed volumes in the month of August. We're very serious to build a real token factory from India. And this is important not just because if we cannot serve tokens from India, that's the first step to becoming sovereign. So that's why this is very core to our strategy and actually will help people build the best AI from India within our own control. Thank you so much.
So I think firstly, I just want to say that very clearly, right? We want Indian developers to have the best of the world at the lowest price. There are some moot debates happening across the world on that. I think all of you folks should have access to the best models at the lowest cost, with lowest latency served in India. And the hard work that we are doing on procuring GPUs, making them usable, and then giving the price points that are globally competitive is something we are deeply focused on. So that brings us to an end of the first part, right? Just to recount, we talked about how each of our models have improved significantly. In the case of the text side, the best conversational LLM. In the case of vision, we have accurate models that work very competitively globally. Speech recognition team actually showing that on a bunch of international benchmarks, we have the best model. And in the case of speech synthesis, we now have expressive models. I'm very excited also about a custom model program. And finally, on the infrastructure, we have for the first time at-scale inferencing working in India. The agentic workload that you saw, the nice plot that you saw, actually is very interesting. It is agents doing work to optimize model inferencing so it's cheaper. So all this talk about recursive AI building AI, it's actually true. I mean, of course, there's marketing to it, but as builders, we feel the joy. There's an AI model that goes and looks at the NVProf simulator, sees where the gaps are, and can optimize things in the CUDA graph, right? Now, this is a little bit of a switch. We talked about models, we talked about infrastructure. Now we want to talk about products. We have been doing a bunch of things in creating extraordinary products that are end usable, right? At Sarvam, we have been focused on research. We've been focused on creating value for enterprises through bespoke engagements. This marks the point where Sarvam is going to come out with products that are generally available, accessible to a large number of individuals, developers, and enterprises. And to talk about that, I would like to invite Mani.
Cool, awesome. Some incredible work on models today. The TTS, ASR, document, and everything. So we've seen how models have pushed the boundaries of what you can do at Sarvam. Over the last few months, we've been deploying these models with enterprises. APIs, voice agents, document intelligence, all of this deployed in production. And as we spent time with companies and design partners, we understood that there's a great deal of work between taking models and delivering business value. There's harness, memory, runtime, evaluations, telephony, and a lot. And that's why we have been spending time over the last few months. How do we take these models, and then how do we convert them into business value for customers? And not just do it in silos with, hey, there's a TTS model, there's an SR model, there's a dub model. Thinking about how all of this comes together for the enterprise. And that's where, today, I'm very happy to announce the Agentic AI platform for India, Indus. Sorry. So, what do I mean when I say Agentic AI platform for India? I don't mean one, I don't mean two, I don't mean three. I mean, it's a platform of 6 Agentic AI tools coming together in one platform. Today, we are very happy to announce work agents, voice agents, content agents, doc agents, coding agents, and our API inferencing stack, all available under one platform of Indus. We launched Indus 4 months ago as a way for customers to experience Sarvam. This experience is 10x supercharged. Let's start with the first one, voice agents. Voice is how Indians talk to businesses, not email, not chat. Voice is how customers interact. And we have been deploying voice agents with enterprises. I want to start with a quick game. I want all of us to guess how many total minutes have Sarvam AI agents talked to real customers in the last 12 months. I'll go with a number. How many people think it's more than 100 million? Raise your hands. OK, that's very few. I'll up the number. How many people think it's more than 200 million minutes? OK, awesome. The real number is 325 million minutes of conversations handled in the last 12 months. This is, to put in perspective, 618 years worth of conversation handled by an AI agent with end customers. We have taken all of these learnings with each minute of this, each call of this taught us what it means to build voice agents for India. People who start in Kannada and move to Marathi. Interruptions, background noise, latency issues, VAD, all of it. Today, we have built the most robust system on top of all of this scale, with telephony, with analytics, and everything. Systems that have been available to enterprise are now being available made to all. As of today, the Samvad or the Voice Agents platform is available for everyone. The same models, the same technology, the same price. OK. I want to talk about 3 things in detail when I talk about voice agents. 1, the entry to barrier, the hassle of creating a voice agent. Imagine what you have to do if you have to create a voice agent today. There's a business person, a product manager trying to think of the scoping document, going to a developer, thinking of models, the orchestration, the runtime, the harness, how to make this available. We took upon this challenge. We said we want to build the most easiest way for anyone to get started on voice agent. What typically is taking about 3 weeks outside to be able to do for voice agents, we have condensed that time. With Samvad or voice agents, you are able to take your voice agent live in under 60 minutes, and I'll show you how. We'll see the video of it. You first start by just describing the agent that you want. Here, we want to build an agent for abandoned cart. The AI agent asks questions for you. It understands your use case better. When should the customer be called? What kind of languages do you want to be enabled when you talk to your customers? Once you give all of these inputs, the agent goes and starts making a plan. It's making a plan on how the conversation design should be. How should it reach out to the customer? What should be the first greeting? It's getting cropped. OK. what are the tools that you need, what are the kind of languages, the nuances, the dialects that you need. The AI agent is now going and making up the entire agent for you. It's choosing the languages, the speakers. More than that, the real pain in being able to build voice agents is the testing. You have built your voice agent, but you're unsure whether it works or not. You're doing manual calls, your teams are actually checking it. Today, we are also announcing the simulate test case and run feature. With that, we are actually able to simulate about 1,000 real users in production so that when your voice agent, before it reaches your first customer, actually has a lot of improvements done on it. Let's go to the next part. You've built the agent. You have decided the conversational flow. You have decided the product, what it should do, and it's sounding very, very nice. Now comes the next step. You want to be able to deploy it. Today, to be able to deploy an agent, you have to be able to go to a telecom provider, do the KYC, figure out the minimum requirements, the contracts, and everything. On top of it, you have to go through the hassle of SIP trunking. You spent 6 weeks doing all of this, only to realize later that your SIP trunking was working only one way. We condensed this 6 weeks of timeline. Condensed, to be able to say that you can go live in Sarvam with a telephone in under 30 seconds. We are the only platform today. We are the only platform today that actually offers you Indian mobile numbers, 080 series, 91 series, to be able to rent it within the platform without going anywhere, all in 30 seconds. Here's a quick demo. We've seen how the user came to the platform, clicked on rent, uploaded his PAN, Aadhaar, very Indian things, GST, and gotten a phone number that he's able to use within 30 seconds and deploy. We've talked about how authoring of the voice agent has become super simple. Then we've talked about how we made it super easy for you to be able to get a phone number. Let's take it up a notch. One agent handles a call. A fleet of agents is what is required to deliver an outcome. A series of conversations with your customers on day 0, on day 1, on day 7, with different agents talking to the customer at different points of intent as the relationship matures. We are today launching Workflows. Workflows enables you to build a fleet of agents that work together. It's a system of agents. It has handoffs. It has shared memory. It has an understanding of what the agent 1 did and personalizes and tailors the conversation for what the agent 2 and agent 3 should do. Let's take an example of an e-commerce cart. The first conversation being an explainer, the second, a negotiator agent coming into the picture, offering a discount, and the third agent coming in and closing the deal. Let's take a look at this in action. The user has abandoned the cart. The company has sent a WhatsApp reminder. The user has not reached out yet and has not purchased. When the user has not purchased, our Samvad agent was triggered. A call was made to the customer, and it's trying to figure out why the customer is not interested in the purchase. It's building memory on what the customer likes, why he doesn't like, what are the objections that the user is making. You see on the right side that it's able to extract the intent, the reason why he's not buying, and when the customer wants a call back. The customer wanted a call back 2 days later. Without any human intervention, the agent automatically schedules the follow-up call. 2 days later, a new call happens, this time with a different agent that understood the intent of the customer from the previous conversation, a different prompt and a different nudge. The customer is called again, and this time the customer transacted. We talked about 3 things. 1, lowering the bar of enabling anyone to build voice agents. 2nd, making sure that anyone is able to come to the platform without any hassle, buy a phone number, and get started to do production volumes. And the 3rd, being able to orchestrate a series of agents that share memory, that share prompts, that share one user's personalized profile to deliver. These are just 3 examples of the end-to-end platform that we have for voice agents. This platform is super dense, rich, covers everything from building, deploying, monitoring, to evaluating, about 30+ features that you can go and try out today. We talked about what it means to build. We talked about what it means to do. I want to talk about one more important thing, which is We have an agent that's working out there. There's a lot of conversations that go well and conversations that don't go. We want to figure out methods in which agents can self-improve out there in the wild. Let's take an example. We are talking about an agent that is calling customers to be able to improve the lead qualification. You go to the Samvad platform, and then you start defining what the goal is. The platform allows you to define the goal. Hey, every time a customer qualifies as a lead, I consider it a success. The agent now starts making calls to the customers. At the end of a week, you have accumulated a bunch of conversations, some that worked and some that didn't. Now, the agent starts sifting through them. Every day and night, it starts going through conversations. You see that the agent here has gone through 4,812 conversations. It's looking at the suggestions that were generated automatically without a human in the loop. This is not sampled from a human looking at 10 conversations. This is automated evals across 5,000 different conversations, trying to understand what's breaking. Hey, the customer seems to have a budget constraint. Hey, we are not doing a good job at understanding when the customer wants a call back. The agent has now not only understood the issues, but goes one step further. The agent has started running its own experiments. It is running prompt experiments with 4 different kind of variants. It has a control variant, a variant A, B, and C. It has ran this across a range of days and samples to figure out which one wins. The last one got 32% conversion rate and goes automatically back into it with a human-in-the-loop approval. Once that goes, your agents start improving. We have done this with a large fintech company in production, and we have seen some stellar results. Between day 0, between day 1 and day 28, we have seen the agents improve their conversion rate by almost 3.5 times. Agents that self-improve are the future. Got it. We talked about the ease of authoring. We talked about self-improving. Let's do a fun exercise again. I'm going to play an audio. This audio is an AI call. This audio is an AI call. There's 2 speakers. I want all of us to guess which one is AI and which one is human.
कौन बोल रहा है? मैं सर्वम कार्ड से प्रिया बात कर रही हूँ. विजय जी, आपने कार्ट में रनिंग शूज ऐड किए हैं लेकिन चेकआउट नहीं किया. क्या कोई इशू था?
हाँ, वो एक्चुअली मैं देख रहा था मैडम, नहीं वो थोड़ा ज़्यादा प्राइस लग रहा था तो मैंने छोड़ दिया.
उन स्नीकर्स पर अभी साइट पर कोई डिस्काउंट लाइव नहीं है, पर आप हमारे रेगुलर कस्टमर हैं. क्या मैं आपके कार्ड पर एक स्पेशल डिस्काउंट अप्लाई कर दूं?
अच्छा, कितना डिस्काउंट मिल जाएगा?
मैं आपका टोटल अमाउंट चेक कर रही हूँ. ये नॉर्मली 2,499 रुपये का है. मैं कूपन अप्लाई करके इसे 1,999 कर देती हूँ. आपको 500 रुपये ऑफ मिल जाएगा.
अच्छा, 2,000 की तो ठीक डील है, तो ऑर्डर प्लेस कर दो.
डिलीवरी एड्रेस आपका सेम रखूँ? फ्लैट नंबर 402.
हाँ, सेम एड्रेस पे भेज दो.
पेमेंट मोड कैश ऑन डिलीवरी रखूँ या ऑनलाइन प्रीपेड?
कैश ऑन डिलीवरी कर दो.
आपका ऑर्डर प्लेस हो गया है. डिलीवरी कल तक हो जाएगी.
अरे मैडम सुनिए, 1 सेकेंड. कल मैं बाहर रहूँगा तो परसों ऑर्डर डिलीवर करवाइएगा.
ठीक है, मैं आपकी डिलीवरी परसों के लिए रीशेड्यूल कर देती हूँ. आपको परसों तक मिल जाएगा. थैंक यू फॉर शॉपिंग विद सर्वम कार्ड. हैव अ ग्रेट डे.
ओके मैडम, थैंक यू.
How many people think that orange is an AI agent? Okay, quite a few hands. How many people think that blue is an AI agent? Much lesser hands. Okay, let's reveal. The orange one, oops. Yeah, oh. Yes. It was AI on both sides, and tremendous work from the models teams. The last one is pricing. Let's just benchmark where we are on pricing with respect to voice agents today. Most players in the market charge anywhere between 8 to 12 rupees per minute on voice agents. An average human or an average employee today charges anywhere between 4 to 6 rupees. With Sarvam, we're announcing a pricing of 3.5 rupees per minute, the lowest in the industry. This pricing includes everything I talked about: AI-based authoring, simulation, the ability for you to get phone numbers, boards, evals, analytics, everything bundled at 3.5.
So, Mani, let me give you a breather because I know you have a lot of talking to do. But I wanted to say three things. Firstly, the 325 million minutes is a shout out to the team, models team. There's a product, but there's also all the work that is done by the go-to-market team to work with enterprises and actually make things work at scale. We don't talk about being the biggest voice AI platform some other organizations do, but by far we are the server of the largest voice AI platform. So thanks and kudos to the entire team. The second thing I find very interesting is voice AI was something that we used to do with enterprises, go and help them build the models, try to make it work for them, then scale it up. I think now we have reached the inflection point where you can just come, what you saw with the workflow, you have a PAN card, you have an Aadhaar card, you can go a small and medium business today or a product team inside a large company today can build voice AI, go live in a minute, right? And I think what that will lead to is a very interesting world, and we are very excited to see what people build with it, right? The third thing is, what you also saw was you can have frontier AI that is useful for evolving your system as you have low-cost, real-time AI interacting with users. The value of actually taking data at scale and self-improving the models to be very effective, we are seeing big uptake in terms of customer outcomes, and I think that's going to be a story for going ahead where long-running fleet of agents continue to be optimized on the specific context of an enterprise and its customers. So I think really looking forward to voice AI scaling to significantly larger numbers. Over to you, Mani, for the next part.
It is mirrored. Cool. So we talked about voice agents and what we can do. Second product that we want to talk about is work agents. In the history of work, scaling up work or doing more meant increasing the number of hands on the table, scaling up manpower linearly. Today, that's not the case anymore. Organizations going forward are going to look a lot like teams of humans and agents coming together. Let's take a look at our marketing team. We have about 12 people in our marketing team. 3 of them consuming food, and 9 of them consuming tokens. It's a team of humans and agents coming together to be able to deliver real value. Kudos to the marketing team on the way that they're organizing this event. It's just epic. Not just the marketing team. Look at Sarvam. About 25 to 30% of the entire workforce is actually agents contributing. Agents contributing to code, agents contributing to data analytics, to product decisions, and everything. And this is the future that we are building for, where humans and agents come together to work. Let's take a look of work agents in action, about how humans and agents come together to be able to deliver value. I'll set some context. We can present. I'll set some context. Let's take Chaitra from our finance team as an example. She heads finance. Every quarter, she sends reports to investors. She has to sift through multiple documents: accounts payables, accounts receivables, balance sheet, bank statement, revenue, payroll, and quite a lot. It's a tedious work. It takes about 6 to 7 days for someone to actually understand, go through all of this data, make sense, and finally make the presentation. Let's see how we make that possible on Sarvam platform. Cool. So this is the Indus platform where we've talked about, and I'm on work agents. Let's take the files that Chaitra would typically see. So here is the files that we are seeing with trail balance, sale registry, purchase registry. All of these complex files with multiple Excels, tabs of bank statements from different ones, the cash flow summary statements, purchase registers, all of this with messy data, unstructured and unclear. Today, Chaitra could just go to the platform, upload all of these documents, and just ask the question. Say something like, hi, I want to make an investor I want to make a presentation for the investor meeting that's coming up later this month. Can you help go through this and help me make a presentation? OK, let me try that once again. Hi, I have an upcoming investor presentation later this month. Can you go through all of these documents and help me make a PPT? cool. The documents are now sent. We see the model starts to think. The model is now emitting traces. The model can do a bunch of things. Let's start to understand, let's unpack what is happening here. This is a completely agentic system that can handle very long-range, complex running tasks. Let's take one by one what all it's doing. The agent initially can start to execute code. It has a very secure sandbox environment where it can write Pythonic tools on the cloud to be able to see what it can do. It's running all the Python code, and then it gets this. It doesn't just do this, it starts to plan. It's able to break down this complex work into 6 or 7 meaningful steps. Wherever the agent is unclear about what to do, it's asking the human for help, and you have the option to steer the agent in ways that you want. Let's make a couple of decisions here. So I want to be able to talk about strategic partnership. I want a short standard slide. I want a clear and professional statement, and I want it as a HTML slides to be able to view in browser. Once I do that, the agent goes back, starts planning, and then starts executing stuff. As it starts to develop this presentation, I'll show you a couple of other things on the platform. The platform comes out of the box with connectors that you would want to use. To be able to do the best work that you have, it's very important that agents have the context of where you're coming from, context of the work that you do, the data that's stored in each of these places. Sarvam Work Agents comes out of the box with all the connectors that you typically use. With one click, you're able to integrate all the data sources, bring the context back into the agent. You have skills that allow you to explain your style of working, what you do, what is the way in which you want a process to be run, the 10x engineer at your company who's able to do stuff, how do you condense all of that into a way that an agent can do stuff. Once you have done all of this, let me go back to the presentation. It's still running. Typically takes about 10 to 12 minutes. Sorry, yeah. Typically takes about, can you present the laptop back? Yeah, takes about it. So what I'll do is, I'll go to a slide where I have the presentation ready to be able to show you. What I want you to do is put in context what has happened. We have given about 10 files of Excel, about 3 lakh rows of data. We have given it a single shot attempt at trying to get this right. We have actually tried to say that, 12 minutes, one task, single shot, 3 lakh rows of data. What does the agent do? Let's take a look. The agent thought and thought and thought, and finally made this. It's an extremely good, high-polished, very condensed, detailed artifact about what is the thing that you want to send to your investors. It doesn't just make this. It's very neat. It's very interactive. You're able to see all the details of the presentations that you're making. Who are the top 10 customers? What are they buying from us? How are the monthly sales looking like? How are the different product lines? And what we have to take away from it. Everything done by an agent in 12 minutes with the right kind of steering. Awesome. We can go back to the presentation. Rajesh, you want to add any thoughts on this? OK, I'll do it after. Yeah, this demo is done. OK. Can we go back? OK, cool. We can go back to PT. Yeah. So we've seen what work agents can do in action. Organize very complex data, understand the kind of, get data from your organization into it, understand your skills, generate complex artifacts, and help you work better and faster with agents together. I want to talk a little bit about what powers this. What is the harness? About 6 to 9 months back, we saw the evolution of frameworks like OpenClaw, frameworks like Hermes. We saw what power agents could extract if they were given the access of a machine. But machines came with their own handicaps. Things were insecure. Machines got clogged when the request went higher. We took on this problem, expanded on the principles of that, and then built our own custom sandbox. This is the most secure and reliable way to deploy agents. Within our sandbox, agents never get access to your API credentials or secrets. We have built a custom gateway that makes sure that all the execution that happens in the sandbox is extremely secure. Second, we have invested quite a bit into thinking what it means for collaboration. Again, frameworks like OpenClaw or Hermes work well at an individual level. We are thinking about enterprises, multiplayer organizations where many people come together for work. All the agents that you see here can actually be promoted to workspace, and multiple people can engage with it. I'll show what that means in an example later. The third and most important point, which matters for enterprises, startups, and everyone, everything that you saw is actually running on Sarvam within India. The inference, the model, the harness, the product, and your data. Nothing ever leaves out. This is the most secure and reliable implementation of work agents. OK. Let's talk quantitative numbers. We talked about the harness that we have created, how it's secure, and how it's reliable. We benchmarked it against Harness Bench. Harness Bench checks evaluation of different harnesses on tool use, long-running tasks, latency, and more. It's a widely regarded benchmark for how well harnesses do. Hermes, which is widely regarded as one of the biggest harnesses that's there, has scored 76%. Sarvam work has not just matched, but beaten it by 3 percentage points to achieve 79% on Harness Bench. Pratyush, you might want to cover this.
Yeah, so I think agents, everybody knows. Everybody knows. What do you use? Use Claude Cowork, maybe Gemini Enterprise. Now we have an Indian product. Okay, now you can actually build agents, deploy it. The marketing team he talked about, the engineering team. In fact, Sarvam probably has 30-odd agents. Every team is using agents to do a variety of things. Now we have a full stack that does it. Instead of having a sprawl of agentic systems, security concerns coming up, you actually have a secure thing that you can buy as an enterprise, connect your components, have role-based access to it. In fact, we didn't talk about role-based access. Across the stack, at the MCP layer, at the agent layer, at the chat layer, there are a variety of guardrails. And the point is the inferencing also runs in India. So we are very excited by this product. We have been dogfooding it and using it internally, and very excited to bring it to customers. So whether it is, think of a government body in India, they need to use agents to be more productive. And now we have an end-to-end deployable system which can run in the either on-prem or on the VPC of the customer, do this end-to-end. But more importantly, why the Harness Bench number was out there, again, sovereignty should not be a tax. You can build excellent PowerPoints, you can do BI, you can do deep research, all of them in this product. I will not snatch the thing about pricing, which he will come to later, but you can do all of this. One more thing you can do is something around the context of an enterprise. While the agents are there, the connectors are there, every enterprise has a bunch of legacy context which is specialized to them. And one of the important things is how do you bring that context, that ontologically rich context to these agents? And we built a layer, we call it internally Tejas. It's integrated with Sarvam Work, which is able to ingest multimodal data, multilingual data, multi-format data. And the way to think about it is, typically you have data that looks like this. You have a bunch of folders. You might have markdown folders. You might have HTMLs. You might have code bases, etc. And we are able to go and integrate all of them in a way in which the agent can work with them as if it is a file system. This is not vectorized retriever that people used to do with the RAG world. This is actually an agent being able to read, drill down, look at something, progressively disclose more information, and answer questions. If you go to the next slide, please, you would see the numbers. We have actually gone ahead and benchmarked this against a range of benchmarks, and you can see that there are 3 comparisons there, which is to take more of a legacy KB. This is how people do typically vectorized retrieval augmented generation with Hermes. You can take our knowledge base approach to Hermes, and of course Sarvam Work, where we have optimized both of these together, and you find that we do very well across all of these 4 international benchmarks. So if you're building stuff which has a lot of context, most organizations do, then you integrate this whole system works as usual. I think of it as the pen drive. You need to bring the pen drive to the machine. The LLM is your CPU, the OS is the harness, and then you plug this in, and with the highest accuracy, you can actually answer questions. I don't know if you have a demonstration of it, but it actually grounds the answer, finds out where in your entire KB the answer lied. That's the other feature that we have. Over to you, Mani.
Got it. Awesome. So we covered the ability for you to generally have a chat, ask Q&A, ability to generate artifacts, and do some excellent retrieval on documents. We'll go a little bit further. When we look at inwards to all of our organizations, we have employees that perform 10x. What makes some of these employees perform exceptionally well? It's a bit of intuition, it's a bit of know-how of what needs to be done, and it's a bit of how you give them the right context and the right setup. It's not just about having a base chat layer where you can have a question and answer, you're able to generate a document or an image. It's about creating this virtual employee. It's about creating this agent that can co-work with you and achieve goals for you. Not waiting for you to go and prompt and ask a question, but how are you setting up goals for it and how is it able to achieve them for you? That's where we are introducing custom agents. Let's take an example here. I'm a developer. I want to be able to create an agent to help me RCA the bugs that I've been getting. I've been getting a lot of bugs. I'm spending 30% of my entire day just trying to figure out what we have to do. This is now creating a new agent. It's the easiest and the simplest way for you to be able to create a custom agent for work today. It's now going and understanding what it is. It's asking you what kind of connectors do you want to use? What is your tech stack like? We use Ignos and Sentry. It now got access to both. It's asking a little bit about which repository do you generally want it to use it for debugging. We give the repository details. We're also giving it some context about the kinds of bugs, how it should look into Sentry, and what it should be doing. Given this context, you're seeing that the agent has now added connectors. There's GitHub, Sentry, Ignos, Web Search. You see that it has also added a skill all by itself, wrote a skill about what it means, a diagnostic skill, and it's now starting to write instructions, how this should work. From the idea of being able to go and saying that, hey, here is an agent that I want to do, that I want to be able to do this specific work. I want it to help me RCA bugs, to a complete live agent, all in under 10 minutes. It has now created this agent. You can go, you can see the skill files that it wrote, you can see the connectors, you can give authorization, and this agent is now ready to be able to go and then do the work for you. The second part is about where do you deploy this agent. Two things are important. We don't want employees or users to be able to go to where the agents are. We want agents to come to where the employees are. Second, think of this. You don't want your employees to be working from office, but your agents to be working from home. You want them also to come to office, and office is Slack. We've built a beautiful integration around Slack. Slack is where most companies operate. Slack is where most of our work gets done. How do you enable all of these agents to come to where employees are? Super simply. A Slack connector works with just one click. Go, create an agent, click on Add to Slack, enter your secrets, and your agent is now available where you're already working every day. Humans and agents working together in the most seamless manner possible. I'll give it a minute to be able to show how it works.
Maybe we need a new operating system that's faster. Okay, it looks like we're having some technical problem there with the console, so we'll have to just figure out. So I just want to, I think what Mani you would have shown is that you can integrate this with Slack. What's interesting about Slack is that the agent is along with other users, and it gets the context of what users are chatting, along with what, okay, that's faster than I thought. Okay, back to you.
Cool. A quick demo of how it's just Super simple to deploy on Slack. All you have to do is, at the agent page, click on Deploy to Slack, add a name. Here I'm adding the name as Verdict. I'm clicking Continue, and the agent is now available. Let's look at what it means to have it in real action. Working with your teams, working in your groups, the agent coming out live. Here, we have a Slack channel, and Ishan, our product manager, wants to be able to use Verdict to be able to figure out a bug. He's asking, check this turn from this last session. The Verdict now starts working. It automatically understands the context. It has connectors to get your log traces from Sentry, understands your code base from GitHub. It starts working, thinking, generating a series of replies to be able to debug what has happened. Once Verdict starts responding, you see that it has gone through the error, and it's identifying what it is. We now involve a backend developer to be able to ask, hey, what is happening here? Why is this happening? The team is now working together with agents. It's an engineer, an agent, a product manager, everyone coming together to actually figure out and solve this bug. And this, I think we believe, is a future of how people and agents come together to solve problems. I'll go back to the first slide. That I said, which is the future of work and how it's evolving, and how agents and humans will come together. That's the one thought that I want to leave you with. OK, before I go into Content Studio, which is the third product that we have, just want to mention that the Work Agents product is live today. It's available for everyone for free. You can go around, play with it, generate all the artifacts, connect all of your data, give us feedback. We are early in the journey, but we'd love for all of you to try it and then give us feedback. Cool. The third product. In the hierarchy, we covered voice agents, we covered work agents. Let's go into content. You've seen some incredible work done by our models teams today. Expressive content, very good accuracy of transcription. Now that you have all of this, a natural extension of this is for us to be able to make sure that this is all available to content creators, to marketers in the country. India is the highest consumption and production of content in the world. We want to make sure that Indic voices and Indic content gets the best in class.
So we have voice library of 50+ voices. We have text-to-speech. We have voice cloning, which all of you should go try out. It's very, very fun to be able to clone your voice and then try it out in different languages. One specific thing that we want to go deeper into and double touch on is motion picture grade dubbing. Dubbing that gets lip sync right, that gets expressive night right, that gets emotion preserved. I want to hold off onto this until launch, but I just want to make sure that I'm giving you a sneak peek of what's in store for you.
हम दोनों एक साथ इस फुटपाथ से उठे थे, लेकिन आज तुम कहां रह गए और मैं कहां गया। आज मेरे पास बिल्डिंगें हैं, ప్రాపర్టీ है, బ్యాంక్ బ్యాలెన్స్ है, బంగ్లా है, గాడి है. నేను నువ్వు ఇద్దరం ఒకటే. మనం ఈ ఫుట్పాత్ మీద నుంచే పైకి వచ్చాం. కానీ ఈ రోజు నువ్వు ఎక్కడ ఉండిపోయావు, నేను ఎక్కడికి వచ్చాను. ఈ రోజు నా దగ్గర బిల్డింగ్లు ఉన్నాయి, ప్రాపర్టీ ఉంది, బ్యాంక్ బ్యాలెన్స్ ఉంది, బంగ్లా ఉంది, కారు ఉంది. నీ దగ్గర ఏముంది? আরে তুমি আমরা দুজনেই এই ফুটপাথ থেকে উঠেছিলাম, কিন্তু দেখো আজ তুমি কোথায় আর আমি কোথায়। আজ আমার বিল্ডিং আছে, প্রপার্টি আছে, ব্যাংকে টাকা আছে, বাংলো আছে, গাড়ি আছে, তোমার কি আছে?
Finishes off in style. A magnificent strike into the crowd. India lift the World Cup after 28 years. The parties start in the dressing room, and it's Halde Darun style shesh korlen. Darshokder majhe ek oshadharon shot. India World Cup jitlo. Dirgho 28 bochor por dressing room e utshab shuru holo. ఆయన తన శైలిలో ముగించారు. స్టాన్స్ లోకి అద్భుతమైన షాట్. భారత్ ప్రపంచ కప్ గెలిచింది 28 ఏళ్ల తర్వాత.
Yeah, some excellent demos on dubbing. The last one, whatever is the keynote that you're currently watching, is being dubbed directly in YouTube across multiple languages like Gujarati and others. So that's a little bit on Content Studio. So we talked about translation, we talked about cloning, we talked about studio-grade dubbing that's coming to everyone. We talked about voice, we talked about work, we talked about content. I'll briefly touch upon document agents. Krishna has covered today morning about the advancements that we are making in OCR models, in document models. I'll briefly cover what the product offering that we have here. You can go to the playground today to be able to extract, digitize, translate documents from English to Indic, from Indic to English, across all the ones beating SOSA benchmarks. All of the configurations that you make on our document agent platform are available as APIs. So if you want to be able to make sure that you're doing repeatable work like we are doing with one of the big fintech companies, where there's a lot of handwritten documents, bank forms that are filled in handwritten notes, and make sure that you're automating this at scale, our agent APIs and doc agent APIs help you do that. The last one, again, something that Vivek touched upon, the sixth product that we are launching is the Sarvam Inference. You've all been using the Sarvam developer stack. We have more than 1 million developers currently registered on our developer platform. We are expanding the access of models with all of the new launches, plus open models that we are launching today as part of Sarvam Inference.
Good afternoon, everyone. It gives me great pleasure to announce early beta of Sarvam Code. And we are soon going to roll it out to more and more developers over the coming days. I first want to start with explaining why we are building this, right? We are building a lot of different products. And the first thing that we heard from various developers when we were talking to them was the coding velocity is not translating into product velocity, right? Their code bases have become full of slop. None of the developers in the team know what is actually going to production, and this is starting to hurt them, right? Coding agents are also getting very, very costly, right? We are starting to hear that from a bunch of startups, bunch of enterprises, and we are hearing that they want to move to open source based models and put them inside coding harnesses. But when we tried to make it work, we realized that that is not an easy job, right? To make the models, we see a lot of good benchmarks. We see benchmarks like Terminal Bench. We see benchmarks like Sweep Bench Pro, Sweep Bench Verified. And these models look really, really good on those benchmarks, but our real-world experience of using these models was far away from using the frontier closed models inside their harnesses. So we said this is a problem worth solving. We said that harness can add a lot of value in helping developers reach frontier level performance, do serious engineering at a fraction of the cost. That is the thesis with which we are building this product. The first problem that we had a lot of fun solving in our coding harness is for long horizon tasks. You would have heard of this goal mode that exists in Codex. It actually really only works with GPT 5.6 Sol, the largest, most costliest model. When we tried making it work with open source models like GLM, Kimi, it doesn't work, right? And we went into details of this. Why is this not working out? And we found out that most of the times what happens is model does some tasks, creates its own goal, it does the job as per the goal, and then itself says that, OK, the task is done. Right? And we realized that the models, open source models, are not RL'd enough to break down this problem and reliably say when the work is done. Right? So we actually decomposed the goal mode into a planner, a worker, and a verifier agent that all work together to ensure that the tasks actually get done. And we tried them on. There's a benchmark that we are soon going to talk about of exploit bench. Can these coding agents chain various vulnerabilities together and take over an entire system, execute code and take over an entire system? We tried it with and without our goal mode on GLM 5.2 inside our coding harness, and we saw tremendous uplift because of implementing goal mode correctly, right? This is the big reason why we think that there should be more competition in coding harnesses. The market is far from over. This is a benchmark called Terminal Bench. There are roughly 89 different tasks, and we end up solving almost similar number of tasks at a tiny fraction of what it takes with frontier models inside their closed harnesses, right? So, by the way, the journey of going through Terminal Bench is also very interesting. We started much lower. We figured out what the problems are, and then we are using our own agents to help us how to improve our own performance on these benchmarks, right? But we want to take one step forward, right? We think that these coding agents are good for a single developer productivity, but what about teams? Can we have a set of opinionated skills? Can we have a set of opinionated tools that help them do some verticalized tasks really, really well? And that is where we built 3 sets of apps, our modes on top of our coding agent. We will continue building more and more. The first one that we built is for Android application building, right? So one of the common problems that we face is navigating with Indian government websites is very cumbersome for a lot of us, right? Take an example of motor insurance, right? Going through the process of filing for motor insurance is a long, drawn process, a lot of handwritten forms, a lot of images to be uploaded. And one of our engineers said that, hey, what if we could use all our Sarvam APIs, our Vision API, our Voice API, to build a extremely AI-native app to go through this process very quickly. So here we are seeing that the engineer just put a goal mode saying that, hey, build me this end-to-end application. It is able to load the skills and tools. It is able to create the plan. And you will also see that it uses Android emulator to go and check whether the app is built correctly or not. Right? Wherever it fails, it goes and makes changes, writes its own test cases, and doesn't stop working until you have an app that is ready to ship. Right? Imagine the kind of transformation that we are now able to bring inside all enterprises, all government institutions, when they are able to provide such 21st century experiences to citizens at scale. Right? So this is the first one that we wanted to talk about. Can we go to the next slide? Sorry, guys, one sec. The second set of opinionated skills and tools that we created was for the data science and ML world. This is because we keep hearing from a lot of banks that they invested hundreds of crores, thousands of crores in building the data infrastructure, but they're not getting enough ROI out of it. And one of our hypotheses was that, hey, maybe we are not asking good enough questions. It is very difficult to navigate these heterogeneous data sources, data being available in tons of different tables, and asking the right questions and being able to answer them. So we took the most complex benchmark that we could find, which is Data Agent Bench, created by UC Berkeley and Hasura, which is itself in a graph database space. And we, again, hill climbed this benchmark with a bunch of our skills and tools. We started from actually somewhere around 60, and then hill climb to 82. You can see the difference between using GLM in a normal harness. You are able to get roughly 60% of the score, but when you build this opinionated skills around the harness, you are able to get very, very close to Fable 5 level performance at a fraction of the cost. We'll quickly show you a demo. This, again, we took it up as a challenge. We said that, hey, I think that agents can now train traditional ML models better than any human beings. So we set out at Kaggle looking for a machine learning tournament. We found the one with the highest prize money, roughly $100,000. This was by Home Credit for training an underwriting model. This task has 15 lakh rows, 500 different features across 7 different tables. And 30,000 people had applied for this tournament. Many applied hundreds of times over a period of 6 months. We entered this tournament, and in 3 hours, we were top of the leaderboard. The agent itself is able to first do exploratory data analysis. It is able to come up with a lot of hypotheses of what can we do to train a model here, what are the important features. Of course, all of this can be with human in the loop. And then it goes on and starts training models and doesn't stop until you reach either a compute budget, a time budget, or certain goal on the accuracy number. Right? So this was, again, something that we are now starting to do actually very commonly and very often. As soon as a new Kaggle tournament comes up, our team engineers want to be one of the first ones to go and hill climb that. The last and most important thing is that in data science and ML, it's very, very important that human is involved in looking at the edge cases of the data, is able to explain why is this model working, why is that model not working, how is this ensemble really going to be stable in production. And again, these agents understand how to analyze these models and analyze different metrics that data scientists are very proficient at looking at and talk to the final user. The last agent that we are working towards is on cyber. We are now able to chain multiple vulnerabilities together and exploit systems. We have actually found very serious vulnerabilities in applications and softwares which are used by tens of millions of users in India. We are working responsibly with them to disclose these vulnerabilities and quickly patch them. This was, again, a benchmark that we are seeing very commonly being reported by Fable, Mythos class of models, where it starts from extremely simple vulnerabilities, which might look very benign, but the model continues to do various permutations and combinations and is able to then exploit and take over the entire system, right? So this was a task that we recently took. We took a bunch of, we took a exploit bench, and we are able to, of course, complete all the 41 tasks, and for 26 of them are able to actually exploit to a very serious degree of take over the entire system. And of course, this is again a benchmark that we have very recently started working on. We'll start hill climbing. The last is a demo of how this is happening. So again, here we are a senior engineer saying that, hey, can you do a quick security check on our infrastructure? This is a Grafana system that we are using. Are all our systems secure? And the agent just starts looking for what are the vulnerabilities reported in that system in the open source, starts attacking it from a pen testing black box standpoint from the outside, and then is able to chain all this together and showcase that, look, you can inject a SQL query and then actually execute commands inside the system, right? And of course, by the end of the demo, we are also able to show that agent then is able to go and patch these systems as well as it is able to exploit it. We intend to continue building our capabilities on both black box testing and vulnerability assessment of critical information infrastructure in India, and also quickly work on patching this as we are in the post-Mythos era. That's all from my side.
Thanks, Vedant. So you heard a lot of stuff, right? So let me just put it all together. So you heard about our models, you heard about our infra, we have inference, we have model training, but what you just now heard was a suite of products which an enterprise today can say, I'm going to build only on Sarvam and do everything it needs, right? You have work agents, which is similar to what you have with Cloud Cowork or Microsoft Copilot or whatever option you like. It is fully fledged. It has its own sandbox. It actually is very, very competitive, in fact, beating Hermes, which you can deploy. Second, you have coding. I mean, this is a very good coding product. I think the little bit of screenshots that you saw is actually Sarvam code. It has a plan mode, a goal mode. It has RLMs, which actually is why it sort of like does very well on a bunch of tasks. And it's been built grounds up by the team. And in fact, Sarvam code was written to a large extent by Sarvam code itself. So we have now a full suite of applications running on top of our infrastructure, which an enterprise today can completely build on, right? And we're going to continue pushing here. Going back to my early slides, we need to be bringing the model vantage point to the product stack, and our ability to go and optimize each of these layers provide us the edge of bringing the full stack to the country. As a next step, I would like to invite the team that is doing on variables. We are doing some interesting things with Kaze as well. Are we doing Anvaya? Yes? Okay. So the next thing that we are doing is, I think we have two quick things. I think we're running out of time given the technical challenges. One is, where does all of this work? While it runs on the cloud, there are many places where you actually want things to work on-prem. And we have an entirely mature stack, having worked for about a year and a half now with the Indian Armed Forces, to put together our stack in completely on-prem settings. And we have a team that will show you what this stack looks like. Over to you guys. We'll keep it brief.
Hello. Good morning, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Laksh, and this is Aditya, and we're engineers from the Chanakya vertical at Sarvam.
Yeah. Chanakya is a vertical which builds AI solutions for government entities. We work across sectors like defense, national security, and intelligence. We deal with a lot of high-stakes problems, so accuracy and security are two major concerns, and every models we deploy, every harnesses we deploy, and every applications we deploy on-prem has to be accurate as well as secure.
Now, Aditya mentioned high stakes, right? What does that mean? When you're working in these environments, you cannot have any sort of data breach, right? By exposing your data to the internet, you're automatically allowing some sort of leak to happen if someone has the skills for it. The best way to support this is to do everything completely on-prem, as Aditya mentioned. That means all the inferencing happens in there. The stack runs runs on the premises. The issue that makes for the sort of challenges that we face there is we have to make sure our entire stack runs on whatever GPUs and whatever compute the clients are offering.
To add on top of Laksh said, the most specific concerns we have on-prem are like limited resources in terms of GPU. So we have to be absolutely sure that our applications uses the GPU at maximum capacity. And one more thing is it has to be accurate because a lot of national security decisions are taken by the outputs which are harnesses, models, and applications give.
So we obviously can't take you through a national security use case, but what we can do is show you guys a bit of a simulation of what that feels like. You guys would have noticed this box that I took out very inconspicuously in front of me. This is a Spark. It is a single GPU, and we have the entire stack, our model, our harness, our application, the entire thing, and the data is all running just on this, right? While this is happening, let me tell you a little bit about what Anvaya actually is. Now, Anvaya is a platform that creates a unified data layer over any type of messy data and allows people to do what's called multi-hop deep research on it. Now, this is a bit important because what it allows people to do is you can take any sort of data from any corpus and get insights from it as an analyst. Again, everything is running directly on the Spark. One of the situations that we will talk about is we work with very complex data in cases such as the government, right? But because we're already working with such complexity, we're able to sort of expand the reach of what we can do. We can take this platform to sectors such as the finance sector, health sector, etc. This specific case was something that we talked about, and what it is someone SEBI came to us and asked us that after this entire after the Rajah Sports incident happened, they wanted a way to see if AI could prevent something like this happening in the future. What we did is we took a bunch of open source data, everything from the internet, before the unveiling happened, and we wanted to see if Unveil would be able to figure out if there was some sort of issue. As you can see, it created a report, which is an analyst's job, right? It takes all the leads, they take all the leads, and they make something from this. You can tell that it talks about the financial fragility. It also talks about any suspicious patterns. But how did it do this? We'll get into it now.
Yeah, I'll take you through all the steps that Unveil did to get to this report. Initially, there was a large corpus of data, which is OSINT data of Rajesh exports. And then it had like file formats like video, audio, PDFs, images, everything. And then now, Unveil has went through the corpus and has created this bucketing, where it has bucketed similar files into folder structures that makes logical sense. And then using that, it has created this ontology or entity schema, which it can use to efficiently extract entities out of the documents which was initially ingested. So let's say there is a person object here, which is connected to corporate events. And also there is this person getting connected to some stock market events, assets and stuff. So these are all the boundaries which we set in the ingestion itself. So the graph which you get at the last is not very sparse or not very dense. And also it is done using very efficient sampling algorithm. So the Unveil platform doesn't have to go through all the whole lot of the corpus. Let's say there is like 1 million data in that. It doesn't have to go through all the things. It just has to go to the each buckets, sample some data, and then get the ontology out of it.
Now, you guys might be wondering why this is relevant, right? By giving the model a bounded field to go within, you eliminate part of the thinking, which is how we can optimize smaller models to give out the same level of output as some bigger ones. Again, we have a 30 billion parameter model running on this, and that was able to generate all this output. It was able to, the knowledge graph that was created, it consolidated across all the documents, everything about this node, for example, which is Rajesh exports. It was able to find a summary. It was able to find where the data came from, which is which is the citability we were talking about, and it even showed the relationships between all these different entities. This allows us to investigate in a much, much, much simpler way. This is one that ran. This is what the agent would do. It would go into it would ask what it needs to know about the knowledge graph, which is the answer to the report you found, but it does that by hiring a paranoid agent to ask even more questions, delve deeper into the data after seeing it, right? It's very simple. It's very it branches out in multiple directions. You can ask these specific questions, like what's the ownership web? And in fact, if an analyst is unhappy with an answer, they can even go deeper. For example, this question right here. While this is talking, you can even see in the graph how it shows off all these different types of information, where it got the nodes from. Let me just, should ideally be, yeah, there we go. So it was able to go through the nodes. It already has the information ready, and it was able to answer it, giving us a report at the end. Now, the strength about Unveil is that it is, you can switch back to slides. The strength about Unveil, right, is that it is able to do all of this with very limited compute. As I said before, this entire thing was generated just by this one little box here, the model, the stack, and everything.
Yeah. I'll talk about two main aspects of Unveil. One, it is very model agnostic. Whatever you saw, the reports, the knowledge graph, the entity extraction, everything is done by a 30 billion parameter model, which is way, way less parameter when compared to Frontier. And also, it's data agnostic. It can take any type of data and make sense out of it and create a knowledge graph and traverse through, ask more questions, delve deeper, and create reports.
And yeah, that's our platform. That's on-prem. Thank you.
Yeah, we have the representatives of all three armed forces with us tomorrow. We're doing some consequential work there, and all of this hard work goes into ensuring that this actually, the good stuff that we build externally is actually usable internally. We would like to, as a next step, talk about Kaze. This is stuff where we are ensuring that the agents that we built are not just limited to desktops and computers, but actually also available to people across the board. Over to Tushar and Pawan to chat about this.
Thank you, everyone, and welcome for this wonderful event. Before we get started, I want to talk to you about a couple of things and specifically be very proud to invite a special guest onto the stage. all this effort that we are putting in, we are focusing on 3 major impact areas. The first one is creating a wider social impact. The second one is obviously work with enterprise for commercial and other wider, scalable deployments. And the third one is to focus on a larger mandate, which is the mandate for our sovereign responsibilities. For our social impact, I'm very happy, and I would like to invite Yogita onto the stage. Yogita is from the National Association for Blind, and I'm also very happy to say that Dr. Rajesh, who's the secretary for NAB, is also here. He's been encouraging us to work with NAB. While Yogita comes onto the stage, can we please roll the video, please?
How is the weather today?
It's warm outside. You can expect clear skies in Bangalore.
Help me pick an outfit for today.
I will help you. Can you show me your shorts one by one? I can see that you have your favorite white t-shirt with you, which will go well in this sunny weather.
I want to go to the Ha Cafe in JP Nagar. Which bus should I board?
You can take bus number 61 to JP Nagar metro station. The cafe would be 100 meters from there.
Has my bus arrived?
This is not your bus. It's bus number 63. This is your bus number 61. You can board it to travel to JP Nagar. Your stop is the 4th one from here and will take about 20 minutes given traffic is unusually higher on the route.
What's in the menu?
This is a menu card. You can order coffee, cookies, cakes, snacks. What are you in the mood for?
I want to have something cold in coffee.
They have your favorite Irish cold coffee. Would you want to try that?
How do I order Irish cold coffee in Kannada?
You should say, Vandu Irish cold coffee kodi.
One Irish cold coffee kodi. Hi, good afternoon. Can I get more noise?
Hey.
I know all of us are hungry, but yeah, let's go. So this is Yogita, and I'm from National Association for the Blind, working as an outreach executive. I'm working since here around 7 months, and since I have started using this AI glasses, like when I introduce starting, like when I go to Sarvam office, when I saw that when they say that Yogita, we have built a glasses, smart glasses. I thought like, okay, I think I have to connect the mobile by using wires, and there will be big cameras over here and all. But when I see these glasses, I was like, wow, it's good, like or like it's our from our India. It was a great to see that it is built very nicely, very proper, authentic glasses. But we never know that. Like I was really asking, like, Rohan, is this really glasses, or it will really work out? That's what I asked him. And yeah, he showed me some buttons over here and all, and he like, okay, fine. I got to know it is kind of glasses which is really smart. And yeah, I feel it is very useful. Like if you take the I'll give my own example. Like, I was literally feeling very difficult to identify the bus number, mainly bus number. I can't say, like, go to conductor and say, sir, can I know which bus, where you will go? And so it is kind of difficult. And this glasses will solve. And all, very nice to see that this glass also supports 22 Indian languages. Like, it can speak my own mother tongue Kannada also. So, and, we can have a wonderful chat, like, and also I got to, it is very useful. It is very easy to understand the color. Like, I can say, hey Sarvam, just can you tell me the color? And it say, yeah, Yogita, you're wearing pink dress. So yeah, it's kind of exciting. I'm really waiting to see that, and one day I'll say, oh, I forgot my glass today. So yeah, that's all about my side. Thank you so much for the wonderful opportunity.
Thank you so much, Yogita. A big cheers for Yogita, and she's here with 20 of her colleagues and her friends who are between us. Thank you, everyone. So as we now move forward, like I said, we have these 3 areas of impact. The second area, when we look at our working with the enterprise, one of the most unique thing, and I think that's pretty much unique to us as Sarvam, is that this entire stack of technology is under one roof. So when you look at this video, you not just see the device, you also hear these multiple languages, the vision models. So much of these models that you saw earlier, they're all coming together, and that's very rare at a technology play, because most of these technologies are usually disjointed, and to optimize all of that for an enterprise deployment, to scale it, to bring the price points of India and make sure that these things are successful at a bespoke model for enterprise purposes, it makes us very, very unique. Let's try and give you a couple of examples.
So I think there are 3 salient things which really set up the entire full stack of glasses with our models. So first is we've deployed SOTA models which are optimized for our hardware. So it will understand Indian languages even in background noise very accurately. The second is the glasses have sovereignty as a key factor. So these are made in India for the world. And we've also made sure that the models we have cloud and edge models, which means that you can use the glasses even in low network areas without scaling up your costs. And finally, we've taken a bet where we will focus these glasses on enterprise use cases. We've been fortunate to work with companies in healthcare, banking, tourism, and we're very excited to see what kind of use cases we can power for the workforce of these companies. And all of you can try these glasses yourself at our booth outside.
Cool. Thanks, Pawan.
Easy to play, right?
One more.
I'm not sure if you're playing one of the videos which shows an example of an enterprise play. Okay. Do we have a video?
Hello, sir. I'm Ramesh.
Hi, I'm Vijay.
Sales manager here. How may I help you?
Yeah, so vehicle details.
Would you be interested in this vehicle for your family?
Yes.
उनको कार का डेली यूसेज पूछिए.
Sir, how much is the daily usage? City or highway?
Bangalore traffic, 30 kilometers in a day. Weekends we go to Coorg as well. I'm looking for a 40 to 50 lakhs a day.
हमें उनका फ्यूल टाइप प्रेफरेंस समझना चाहिए.
Okay, sir. Petrol or diesel?
Honestly, performance matters.
Analyzing the conversation, a mid-sized petrol hybrid sedan would be recommended.
Then our mid-sized petrol hybrid sedan, sir. City mileage and hill power. Drive it on Saturday.
Done. Living.
Okay, sir.
Thanks, Pavan. Thanks, Tushar. I think to end it, it's been a longer session, we thought we'll do something fun. So introducing Abhigyan to talk about Kiwi.
Sorry? Wide in, right? Hi. Save the best for the last, huh? Just kidding. Yeah, so maybe we can start with a banger product video, completely generated by AI, because Kiwi started as a passion project by a bunch of folks doing full-time, rather 24/7 work. But we thought that maybe let's combine our energy and do something cool. So let's see the video first, maybe. Okay, thank you.
Who's there?
Today, most of the dictation tools are engineered to solve just one problem: typing. We took the challenge to do much more and even better. First, starting with dictation. Humans have range. Homo sapiens evolved speech over millions of centuries. And it puts us right at the top of the food chain. We weren't alone either. We had incredibly close siblings, Homo erectus and the Neanderthals. And did you know Homo sapiens can whisper and still be perfectly understood by other Homo sapiens? Second, Kiwi understands context. Let me try something different. You know, Kiwi is a national bird of New Zealand, but the product Kiwi's name has another interesting origin story.
ಕನ್ನಡದಲ್ಲಿ ಕಿವಿ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು ಅಂತ ಗೊತ್ತಲ್ವಾ? ಯಾರು ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ಕೇಳಿಸ್ಕೊಳ್ತಾರೋ ಅವರೇ ಸಖತ್ತಾಗಿ ಬರೀತಾರೆ. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಈ ಹೆಸರಿಕ್ಕಿರೋದು. ಯಾವಾಗಲೂ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಮಾತು ಕೇಳೋ ಮಿತ್ರ.
I don't understand what was said here. Translate this in English in the simplest possible way.
Yeah, that was a brief Kiwi introduction. Do you know that keyboard was invented in 1860s, and something else very important technological innovation happened during that time? Any guesses? Around 1860s. So keyboard as typewriter, not like keyboard as computer keyboard. The QWERTY typewriter. 1860s was the period when telephone was invented by Graham Bell. And that was just point A to point B connection. Telephone went from that point A to point B to a rotatory, to a cellular connection, now to a satellite connection. Now you can do, the experience has evolved so much. You can chat over video. You can, technically, even if you are in space, you can chat. What has happened with typing experience? I don't think it has evolved much. What is the reason for it? Of course, keyboard gives you three important things. One is it is very predictable, it's reliable, you know what you are typing and you know what you get, and it is free. Why no other interface could do that? It's because of these three reasons. They couldn't solve the reliability problem. Today, I don't think that's a problem at all. You can solve reliability, predictability, and almost free. I'm saying almost because we have to make some money also, with a product like Kiwi, which is powered by our state-of-the-art ASR model, also with intelligence on top. What all it can do? You can have your custom words in the dictionary. You can have speed dials, which are shortcuts. You can personalize your output. It doesn't have to be what you type. You can select your style depending on the apps you are in. And you can share your terms with your friends. Why not? But yeah, but why should we stop at dictation? We have the intelligence on top of speech recognition. So let's do more. We know we can dictate, but what we saw in the video, we can edit also on top of it. You can see here this example. Make it sound apologetic. Running a little behind, I'll be there by 12. You can change the tone. You can select any text on the screen and it will, you can give a command to it. The possibilities are endless. And we gave it to one of our co-conspirator in building this product to try out what they can do with this particular Kiwi tool. Can we play the video?
Hey Kiwi, help me fill out this form. So for my details, you can put Pranav Shrivar, 24th February 2005, 503 Negro Arroyo Lane. And for my phone number, 9384-844-731. And for my emergency contact details, you can just put my dad's details, Sridhar R. And his phone number is 98401-20331. And for the acknowledgements, just fill everything as yes.
Okay. This is one of the things you can do, but we wanted to show something more, which potentially we are building. It's not there yet, but we are building on the concept of how much you can control with voice. Let's see this example.
Hey Kiwi, open my recent message with Arjun Kale and give me a TLDR of that.
शुक्रवार रात 9 बजे पुणे से निकलना है। शनिवार सुबह महाबलेश्वर रेनकोट और कैश साथ रखना।
Translate it to English and make it bulleted points.
English summary ready.
Reply to him saying we will join from Lonavala on Saturday morning.
Done and sent.
Send this message to Amit Kale over email too on his official email ID and set up a calendar invite tomorrow for 30 minutes, anytime after 4 p.m. whenever his first slot is free to finalize it.
Sending email at amit.kale@akiwi.ai and blocking your calendar between 5:30 and 6 for tomorrow, 31st July 2026.
Yeah, so when we started building this, as a passion experiment, we realized the potential of it. And literally, you can think of a world where the way of interaction itself will change drastically. And again, a vision video just to capture that attention. It's late in the day, I know. Maybe we'll help you. There is one video.
Hey Kiwi, next flight to Bangalore. If it's after 5 p.m., book it.
Searching, boss. 7 p.m. today. Book it?
Yes.
Booked. Don't miss it this time.
Yeah, so what we saw there as a vision is the way we interact with any machine or from machine to any other human will fundamentally change. And it is coming. It is coming at a pace where robots are now enacting humans much more than you can identify whether it's a robot or a human. Of course, behind any cracked product, there is a cracked team. We have just 4 of us started building this a couple of months back, going back and forth, working mostly as a part-time experiment, just to show that, okay, let's see where it goes. I really want to call out a few things. One is, being at Sarvam, it gives you that creative space to pursue your passion while staying connected with the mission. I think this is what I remember even before I joined Sarvam it's almost over 3 years back, and Pratyush told me that Sarvam will be like a cocoon of energy within which you can creatively play with your ideas and invent, experiment, build yourself, have a vision, lead. That message carried on with me till this day. And I can tell you, when you have, that's why we are saying that we want people to make this Kiwi like a movement of building next generation of human and computer interaction. What we want from you, you have to be smart and you have to be daring. I think those are the 2 traits. If you have anything, you can crack it. No doubt about it.
Cool.
Just final thing on store, this is on the product side. We have Mac downloadable today. Windows is coming soon, Android and developers. We are launching Kiwi for developers while limited to just our Surface. We'll just open it up through API and MCP. It's free. This is the free tier. This is the pro tier. The finance team asked me to put this, but it's pro for the pro is also free for everyone till 15th August. And yeah, this is your link. You can capture this cool merch from our booth at the booth. It's the first booth just when you enter the gate.
Thank you, Abhigyan. Okay, that wraps it up. Longer than we thought, but you saw great models, you saw great products, launching a whole suite of agentic products, and also the experiments that we are doing on devices and interaction models. In fact, the Kiwi thing is really about building interaction models that are world-class. You build the product surfaces, then you understand what interaction models look like. Thank you for being part of the first Epoch keynote. We have lunch for you, and after that, there's a whole range of interactions. So look forward to continuing this chat. Thank you.